come out to the Neon Crew. We'll get together, have a few laughs.
Nice.
Hard to pick a quote from one of the most totemic action movies of all time, in which the main character has a lot of iconic line deliveries to himself, you know?
Yeah.
A lot of just like inner monologue seeping out into actual text, you know?
He's got it. He kind of has to.
Because how do you modify yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker? Yippee-ki-yay, Neon Crew?
That's a good point.
Yeah, I feel like it loses a little bit of the punch when you take out the motherfucker.
I think there was one in there that I'm not gonna remember it.
Because what's the TV edit of that line? If you're like watching it on like TNT or some shit, he probably says something like "Yippee-ki-yay, mamacita" or something.
Yeah.
Which I feel like if you're watching Die Hard on cable, I mean, unless it's like your very first viewing of it, it's like, what's going on? You might as well just rent it from Amazon or something, right?
Well, you say that now. I mean, that was 15 years ago. That's not a conversation you have.
Yeah. What is Amazon?
Yeah.
That's a rainforest, buddy.
Well, I put it into Netflix, and it's going to deliver me the DVD in 4 days.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we'll be talking about Netflix here soon.
Oh, yeah.
Can't fucking wait. God. Hello, everybody. Welcome to a very special Christmas edition of the Neon Crew podcast. My name is Kyle.
I'm Mac.
I'm Kyle. We'll be talking about some special movies. So if you listen to our last episode towards the end of that, you'll probably remember that we mentioned something about a guest on this episode, potentially Sam Parker, joining us once again to discuss whatever movies we decide to throw on the slate. And unfortunately, scheduling didn't work out. The timing was a little wonky, so he was not able to join us for this episode.
Womp womp.
Yeah, but he'll be back, so no worries there.
Yeah.
We'll still be spreading holiday cheer. So how this episode worked, instead of the usual recommendation alternating back and forth, we decided to each pick a Christmas movie to discuss. My pick was Home Alone, and Mac's pick was Die Hard.
Yes.
The first Die Hard movie. And I'm excited to get into each of those. Piper is nestled right on my lap. She's excited to join the conversation.
Yeah.
She says, I like Die Hard the best.
Nice.
I give it 10 paws out of 10. Silly Piper, you only have 4.
Oh,
goober.
How'd we get to 10?
How do you not know how to count?
How are you talking?
I think I need to teach her some things again. Yeah. How are you speaking? This is incredible. A talking cat.
Another Christmas miracle.
Dun 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 dun.
Very nice.
So I got a bit of news first, before we get into the movie discussions.
Okay.
And I think you'll probably know what I'm going to bring up, and I'd be remiss not to mention it at least. Rob Reiner and his wife.
Yeah.
Very, very tragic. You know, it's obviously tragic in any time frame, but around the holidays and like the circumstances that led up to it.
Yeah.
So for those who might not know, which I'm not sure how you don't know, it's all over the news now, not just entertainment news, but legendary director Rob Reiner and his wife, Michele, were both stabbed to death in their home. Allegedly, I don't know if I can say allegedly because a lot of news sources are basically confirming it, but it's looking like their son, Nick, was the suspect.
Perpetrator.
In that crime. The perpetrator. Very, very unexpected. And
usually murder is.
Yeah, usually murder is unexpected.
Yeah.
This one especially so because when I first saw the headline, I thought it was maybe because it didn't mention anything about like it being a murder or
gotcha journalism,
like it being not necessarily gotcha journalism, just like the first news story about it that didn't know much.
Yeah.
So it simply, the headline was like Rob Reiner and wife Michele found dead in LA home.
Yeah.
And it just had their ages on there.
Yes.
So I thought, oh, is this another Gene Hackman situation where like the wife dies, but like he can't take care of himself, and then it just like, or like they had health problems, and then just like something weird happened, right?
Yes,
and they've been there for a while like that.
I'm with you on that.
But no, it is a lot more nefarious and just like outright tragic than that, for the entire family, because I guess his son Nick has been struggling with substance abuse and drug use and all that stuff since he was 15 years old. I guess they even made a movie about that thing, called Being Charlie.
Being Charlie.
That is co-written by Nick Reiner and his dad, Rob. And it was one of the movies he directed. I think it came out 2016. And I feel like that's, I don't know, it's going to be one of those weird things that people look back on, and it's going to have a very interesting retrospective on it. But if you don't know some of his directorial work, he had a pretty big run in like the late 80s and 90s, right? Stand By Me, When Harry Met Sally. This is Spinal Tap.
You do Forrest Gump?
No, that's Bobby Z. It's Robert Zemeckis.
Oh, Zemeckis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, God, I have such brain fog. I can't think of.
It's all right. I mean, you hit the top. I saw it.
There's another big one I'm kind of missing. Misery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is not Scream Rob Reiner.
No, but it kind of showed you just like, Princess Bride. That's the other. That's the other kind of big one. A Few Good Men, like just this absolute totemic run of movies that had a huge impact on culture in some way or another, right? And not to say that if he didn't have like a good run of movies, it would be any less tragic. Just to give you a picture of like, what this guy's legacy meant to people. It
might not be making our Facebook feeds.
Sure, but either way,
not to hold the man, to the standard of the films that he's made.
Right.
I mean, he was good enough. James Wood came out and like defended him,
right,
for some of the things. We don't have to talk about the political side of this, but like,
no, because then I'll get really upset.
There's a lot of people kind of coming out of the woodwork that, like, I think the legacy of a person and the character that they have is by who defends you in situations. If good character, outstanding citizen, right? Like the impact that you have on others, they will defend you when you're not available to defend yourself. And I think that goes to speak to the character, like the ultimate testament of his character. Because we've seen those films, right? I've always think about him in Wolf of Wall Street, which is
he plays Leo's dad in that. Yeah,
very nefarious film. So like, you think about like Wolf of Wall Street, you say, hey, this guy's in it. Oh boy.
Well, he was also an actor too. Like he was, he was in, a decent amount of roles over the course of his life. And it, like you said, it does speak so much to not only like him as a filmmaker, but his just inherent character and goodness when you have so many people showing an outpouring of like, thoughts and support and whatever that looks like to them, to like cherish the memory of him.
Yeah.
And, I obviously didn't personally know the guy, but for all intents and purposes, sounded like he was pretty salt of the earth dude.
Wholesome.
Yeah. Very wholesome.
Yeah.
I think that reflects a lot in not only like what people say about him, but like also the movies that he made, right?
I guess it's conflicting because there's two gauges here. Well, there's probably more than that, but like, there's always a couple merits or gauges on when you're thinking about a person. One is, the people that stand up for you, defend you, or how they talk about you when you're not around. The other one is how you raise your kids.
You're right.
So maybe that's the conflicting part, but we don't know anything that happened.
It'd be tough to speculate. All I know is that he has two other kids who, for all intents and purposes, seem to have turned out okay. I think Nick had a lot of chances to overcome his struggles that he simply just didn't.
Demons.
A lot of demons that he didn't quell for one reason or another.
It was such a bizarre. It happened Sunday night, Monday night.
Whatever the 14th was.
Okay, I think that was Monday.
So 3 days ago. 3 days ago, as of this recording,
I woke up and I was getting ready for work. It was 7 a.m.
Yeah,
and I saw that and I was like, this seems fake.
Yeah, first thing I saw when I opened up Reddit when I woke up.
Yeah.
Which, I need to stop opening Reddit
That's
when I wake up.
what you go to when you wake up?
I know, I'm an insane person.
Jesus.
This is why I know too much about movies and entertainment.
Scroll a feed, you're going through the fucking recess of everyone's brain.
Yeah, I'm kind of going through like people's collective consciousness. And it's kind of tearing me up, I'm not going to lie.
Right when you wake up in the morning.
It makes me feel awful. I should stop doing it.
I get a cup of coffee. I hear what everyone's got to say about everything.
Yeah. The cacophony of voices just rings in my ears like tinnitus, like Baby Driver. But no, I feel like, it was something that we would be remiss if we didn't mention it at the very least. Sure. And
thoughts and prayers go out.
Yeah. Very tragic loss. He will be missed. Speaking of tragedy, I think we should talk about, at the very least, the Netflix acquisition.
Oh, fucking Christ.
Of Warner Brothers, and how that's going to impact not only entertainment, but, different industries, movie theaters, how we consume media. Netflix's everlasting quest to destroy any sort of like fun at the theater or whatever.
It's literally like a fucking monster that's just like eating and it's like Godzilla -1.
Yep. So Netflix, if you guys don't know, Netflix purchased Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers was up for sale for like this past year or so, right?
Hitting the street corner.
Yeah, because David Zaslav doesn't know how to fucking run an entertainment business.
It's really hard, apparently.
Apparently, it's so hard. All he had to do was not destroy the idea of entertainment, but
they have some good properties too.
They got a few. They got a few.
God.
But the leading competitors that were up for bidding on Warner Brothers was Netflix, which ended up getting it for I think like $180 billion or some shit.
Just cut me off like $1 million. I'll be all right. What is that? It's like 0.018%.
That's like less than that's less than 0.5%.
God.
Probably. Paramount, which we didn't want Paramount to get it because of the kind of in Trump's pocket they are.
Self-destructive.
And then I think the other one was Comcast, which Comcast was in a tremendous amount of debt, much like Warner Brothers, which is why they were up for sale.
Sure. That would have been a fun one.
Right. It's like, what the fuck are you going to do with this?
Well, and then they merge, and all of a sudden they are now up for sale a year later, and now Netflix owns Comcast and Warner Brothers.
Yeah. It's like, congratulations. You can get David Cornsweet as Superman in your cell phone ads. Yeah. People will be riled up for that.
State-run media.
People can argue that, the lesser of the three evils got the juice, but at the end of the day, this is still a company that prioritizes streaming above all else and only puts movies in theaters when they feel like they're obliged to, because that's the only way they get awards recognition, right?
Yeah.
And so you've got this company that, at the very bare minimum, tolerates putting their movies in theaters. But once they know that they don't have to, they're going to just try to steamroll it and get rid of it altogether.
Are they a distribution company?
I mean, they're a full-blown movie studio that had like a ton of valuable IP, DC.
I'm just curious. Maybe this
a lot of Stephen King stuff.
It might open up a little bit more of a avenue for Netflix to start pumping this into theaters. I don't really know. I mean, we're speculating on what could possibly happen. It's at the end of the day. I mean, I hope for good media, good entertainment, and stuff still to be in theaters, and Netflix takes an approach that would ultimately benefit me.
And time will tell. And I guess, there are a few things that you could maybe point to be like, oh, maybe it won't be the worst thing. Like, I know that they're releasing their finale of Stranger Things in theaters. But this is also a company that has a big history of just like trying their best to consolidate towards their streaming service only, right?
Well, yeah, but I mean, I don't know if they've bought it. I mean, I don't know if they've acquired. We got there.
Yeah.
It's 3 big words for the people listening at home that all have Q's. So Scrabble, you're welcome.
I like the idea that people are playing Scrabble while they're listening to this.
That'd be nice, like
be
red
nice.
wine, just sitting down. We're
that
on,
means
like,
we have a
some
smart
vinyl
audience.
record. Yeah.
Which makes me kind of doubt that anyone's playing Scrabble if they're listening to this show.
Very true. Well, I just gave him 3 fucking key like huge words.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they've ever acquired anything this big. So it's
No.
also interesting, like when you talk about your business model and some of the strategy that you're looking at. I'm curious. And yeah, we're kind of ragging on like this whole thing too, but what's Warner Bros. Done for us in the last 10 years?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. They've been a studio that like this last year, they've had some pretty decent movies
Have they?
come out. Yeah, there's Sinners, One Battle After Another, Weapons,
they were a part of
Superman.
Really?
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, they've had a decent year as far as feature films in the theater goes. So Weapons
To the
being the
extent
most
that we
successful
kn-
of those,
yeah.
probably.
Well, I'm saying like to the extent that we know.
Yeah.
Because I mean, we're picking the successes. Who knows how many of those things?
Right.
And where did they go wrong? That's also another question that I have.
David Zaslav.
Yeah. I don't know how those companies fail. Like you just have to really produce a lot of shit films, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's also the idea that Netflix being so hungry for that type of thing, just to like completely to get back to the days in which like Netflix was the only streaming service and it had like a ton of shit on it because licensing and other movie studios didn't have to worry about that, right?
Yeah.
Like they're like, oh, what are we gonna do? Make our own streaming service? And then they got the idea to do that, and so Netflix got less and less content because everybody was moving their shit away from it. So I feel like this is their kind of like attempt to maybe consolidate that again for themselves.
Yeah.
Like get back to where they used to be, just like spending the capital that they
obviously,
have now.
They're doing well. To
Yeah.
spend $180 billion.
Yeah, I mean, instead of the idea of competition and trying to make your service better than the other person's, the other person's just going to buy you now and make it a little bit shittier. Yeah,
conglomerates. That's the next thing you know, they're going to be buying Pepsi, and fucking all you have to do is press a button and it'll pop out of your goddamn TV.
When you open the can, it makes the dun-dun.
Yeah, right. Be able to listen to Stranger Things as you're drinking it.
Yeah, right?
Jesus.
It's like a Pavlov's dog effect.
Oh,
you
God.
have a Pepsi and you're like, oh, the new episode of Stranger Things is on. Yippee.
We're getting closer and closer to Terminator, which I don't know if I'm embracing or not.
Yeah. Speaking of action movies, should we get into one of the films to discuss?
Yeah. What are we doing? Oldest to newest?
Yeah. I figured we would talk about Die Hard first.
Damn it. Yeah.
So do you want
that's not bad.
You want to introduce it?
That's my movie I picked. How can I not?
This is my baby.
Yeah, no, let's hop into it. We're gonna talk about Die Hard, everyone.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
This is a 1988 film. Rated R, 212 minutes. It is directed by John McTiernan. I gotta see what else. What's John done?
So he's done the first Predator movie. He did Die Hard with a Vengeance, which is the third Die Hard.
Hell yeah.
He did Hunt for Red October.
Yep. Last Action Hero.
Oh,
and then we have some not so bad. Oh, Basic. Hell yeah.
So I've seen Rollerball.
I have not.
It's a bad movie.
Yeah.
Throw it on if you're just like, yeah, this is gonna be kind of funny.
Yeah.
Mac had an allergic reaction to me bringing up Rollerball.
Trust me, man. That's a remake too. That was when I was 12, and I think I was just getting close enough to be like, that's not going to be a good movie. And at 12 years old, to be able to recognize that, could only imagine where it sits at now.
Yeah.
However, so this is based on the book by Roderick Thorpe, titled Die Hard.
It's actually titled Nothing Lasts Forever.
Nice. So his Roderick, man, that's a gruff looking dude. Adapted by Jeb Stewart. Jeb's not a name you hear a lot. Jeb Stewart and Stephen E. D'Souza.
I think it's D'Souza.
Mm-hmm. Starring Bruce Willis as John McClane, Alan Rickman kind of coming out of his I think this was his
this is his first on-screen credit.
Yeah, moving away from the theater. Bonnie Bedelia. Good Lord. As Holly Gennaro McLean. Reginald, man, what is up with these names?
Reginald Bell Johnson.
I mean, we're talking Die Hard here. I can't even get through these names. Reginald Bell Johnson as Sergeant Al Powell, and then Paul Gleason as Dwayne T. Robinson, and then some other probably less recognizable characters in this thing. I thought there was a...
Yeah.
Right? Like, I don't know if anyone...
I mean, the only other major ones would be Devereaux White as Argyle, and who was the coked up guy? Oh, Hart Bachner as Harry Ellis.
Yeah, I feel like he had some stuff in the 80s.
Yeah.
Right?
He looks like a very 80s guy.
Oh,
like,
yeah, to a T.
Suit and the beard and the hairstyle.
Very American Psycho.
Mm-hmm.
So anyways, getting into the film now, we open up with a plane going, and it's our main character. Maybe it opens up on Nakatomi Plaza, and then we get to the plane. I can't quite remember. I thought it was a plane kind of showing that it's coming down.
I think it is the plane.
Yeah, and it gets in on Bruce Willis, and so we're introduced to the star of the film right away, and he's talking about, he hates flying, and the guy's like, hey, man, roll, fist with your toes, fist with your toes, fist with your feet, and sees that he's got a gun. And I the reason why I'm kind of talking about it too, I love the exposition in this. Mm-hmm. I love when exposition doesn't have to be someone gets on a narration, right?
Yeah.
Or it's got to be like, I did this in New York. So anyways, he's got a gun. We find out he's a cop. He's going to go visit his wife. The status of their relationship's very much up in the air. That's probably another 80s thing too, where you just got a family that's cross country. And gets to Nakatomi. We get introduced to Argyle. We find out that he's going to a Christmas party. Mm-hmm. And the Nakatomi Plaza, and his wife took kind of an opportunity to better herself in her career, become probably she had to be the breadwinner. That's a 30-story building.
Yeah.
And she's a director. So we get there. And we get some other cut scenes with some cars traveling to Nakatomi Plaza, and it's been alluded to that the only people there are on the 30th floor, and one of them's the owner of the building or of this company. He's the CEO or the president, and some gunshots go off. Some people are introduced, and now you find that this is, and we're not really sure. This is, it feels more of terrorism than it does a heist. Mm-hmm. But that is all of the cat and mouse chase that is Die Hard. So John is he's eluded the dangers on the 30th floor, only to start going through the top. I mean, it's a rat race. Well, not rat race, but he's figuring out how to take down the bad guys.
Could you imagine if this was like John Lovitz instead of Bruce Willis?
No,
going through this.
There is a lot of fascinating.
Speaking of rat race,
oh my god! And at the time, Bruce Willis wasn't a big guy at the time either. So, spoilers for Die Hard. We're gonna start. We're gonna hop onto Die Hard as we start ingesting this thing, because this is a fantastic film that must be watched every Christmas Eve.
Christmas Eve specifically, my birthday.
Yeah,
I'll be 31 this year.
How about that?
I know. I want to die.
Get away from Reddit.
That unironically would probably help my mental state.
Start somewhere else.
Yeah. Start somewhere else. So right off rip, you mentioned that this is kind of the movie that put Bruce Willis on the map in terms of thinking of him as like a leading man, kind of like movie star status.
Yeah,
right?
A lot of people, especially of our age, were all introduced to Bruce Willis elsewhere, right?
Yeah.
And yes, this is one of his first films, if not, maybe not first. He was in Moonstruck. I think he was in some other.
He was in like
roles.
the only other thing that he was in that he was kind of the lead in was this comedy. I forget the name of it.
Oh, is it Hawks God.
I could probably find it
This
real
is good
quick.
pod.
I know, very.
I've stumbled over the synopsis of this thing. We're like, what did he do? What did he do?
Listen, there's a reason why I can cut around this.
Yeah.
Moonlighting, Blind Date.
Blind Date. Okay.
Yeah, a moderately successful comedy came out 1987, so the year before.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, people when they heard about Bruce Willis being cast in this movie, at least in the entertainment industry, there was a lot of doubt being raised as to how successful this movie was going to be, especially when they heard how much he was getting paid. I guess he got like $5 million, which at the time was one of the highest paid gigs that you could have gotten in Hollywood at the time. Like it was the most money that an actor had gotten at that point.
Right.
And they shopped this around to different action stars, leading men, Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger especially being towards the top of the list. And so all those guys turned it down. And when Bruce Willis got the part, it kind of felt like there was this weird sort of thing in the air of, really? Bruce Willis, the guy from Moonlighting? Like, this guy's a comedy guy.
Yeah.
You know, there's no way he's not ripped like Arnold is. There's no way he's going to be able to like convincingly do the things that we expect him to do in this movie.
Yeah.
And that's sort of the magic of what makes this movie fantastic, is the fact that you're watching this guy, and this is a thing that's been discussed so many times, but it's worth bringing up. This guy who is not like, you know, a muscle-bound bodybuilding freak.
He's your everyday man.
Yeah, I mean, he's not in bad shape, but he's also just like a guy that you could see in a gas station.
He's got receding hairline.
Well, it has nothing to do with his shape.
I mean, like, we were joking about this because I think this was a film that we would watch every Christmas Eve after the holiday party. Mm-hmm. So I've seen this movie probably once a year ever since I was 10.
Yeah,
and we were talking about it not too long ago, and one of the things that me and my brother really got a kick out of with this is that I say everyday man because I think a lot of audience members gravitated towards him because it's like you said, it's not Stallone, it's not Schwarzenegger, it's not, you know, name your action movie hero, right?
Yeah.
This guy, he comes in, looks like an average Joe that you'd probably see on the streets. Yeah, like I'm not knocking him on his physique, but definitely not of the type that we're accustomed to seeing. So this was had to have been a breath of fresh air to finally see someone that you could relate to on screen, right? And be like, I could be John McClane.
Yeah.
Right? Like even when you watch the film, there are some things that. So if you watch Predator or, you know, any of those action movies, you're not thinking like, oh, what would I do or could I do that? In this one, however, there's so many moments that pop up that you think to yourself, if I'm in his shoes, right? And it's very plausible.
Which is funny because he's not wearing shoes.
Damn it, Kyle. Yeah. Shit. If I...
Gotcha.
Where do I go from? All right, we can't do it.
I trapped you in the vent, much like John McClane is trapped in the vent in this movie.
Yeah, so it's very rewarding, I think, and that's where I think in the 80s that had to have gotten a lot of men, you know, guys' attention watching this thing, because you could almost envision yourself doing something like that if you ever had like a daydream, right? Like you'd almost be in this exact scenario if you're in an action-filled daydream.
Yeah,
you know,
and it's fun to watch because John McClane, the way he's written, even though this movie is heightened to so many different degrees, it's just like a cascading series of like action events and like turmoil, he's still grounded enough to where you watch this movie, it's very easy to root for this guy.
Oh yeah.
Because he's got such a distinct personality. And it's funny that you mentioned like, oh yeah, I can see myself in this. I wonder like what would I do in this situation? It's an easier question to ask when the hero is more relatable.
Yes.
At the same time, it's such a good balancing act of that alongside giving Bruce Willis, John McClane, a very distinct character that makes him memorable and fun to watch on screen.
Yeah, I think, and it could be at the time, but you know, there's always like some roles, right, in society that you put on, and it's hard to do now because we have access to so much information, but you know, back in the time, a hero cop, if I read that, I'm starting to like make my background of him, right? He was in, he tried out for SWAT, didn't get it. He was Navy SEALs, and we're just talking about a New York cop.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like, for us, you build up this whole pedigree of everything that he's done. For him, hey, I passed basic training, and I've been a cop for 11 years, so I know a little bit of the ins and outs. So it's almost, I love that they had him as a cop because everything that he is doing, one, he's got the savviness, right? It's almost like a knockoff James Bond. He's got the savviness of everything going on. He's got a little bit of that moxie that every decision that he makes, you feel like he's making the right one. And he's not necessarily stumbling through it, but it's also not to the elegance that you would expect.
Right. It's always an uphill battle.
Yeah, right. And there's that perseverance and that how is he going to do it this time? Whereas with the action heroes and the Marvel guy, it's never like, how's he going to do it? It's when.
Yeah. There's a weird sort of, when it comes to action movies, especially before this movie came out, there's a weird expectation of a checklist.
Yes.
I'm watching this movie, it's like, okay, cool. When's the car chase? When's the hero going to kill the villain in this scenario?
Yeah.
When are these things going to happen that we all expect to happen because the lead character is played by a literal tank of a human, Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Yeah. There's no guessing on is he going to fail?
Right.
Which, side tangent, Terminator, fucking, how about that casting? Back onto this.
Yes. Anyway, the sort of great balance that this movie has is so exemplified in that first scene when he's on the plane, because you get that he's a cop, but you also get that this guy has certain vulnerabilities that he's just inherently susceptible to.
Yes.
The fact that he's just scared being on a plane.
Yeah. Because
he's not used to it.
Yeah.
It's this is something that we as an audience can easily relate to, while at the same time recognizing that this guy's got some pretty heroic qualities about him that I might not be able to pull off.
Which I also want to add too. I've literally seen this movie a million times. It didn't even occur to me. That might be equated to a fear of heights. And which makes it even more hilarious that he is on the 30th floor of this thing doing all of this stuff with this weakness attached to him, right?
Yeah, a lot of precariousness there.
Yeah.
That's good. That's very good foreshadowing that way.
Yeah.
Whether intentional or not.
I don't know. I just saw it. I was like, wow. because I hate planes, and I think Jasmine walked in when I was watching this thing. She's like, what would you do? I was like, I'd be throwing up every time I look out a mirror or out a window. It's just...
Are you afraid of flying?
Oh, yeah. I hate flying. Every time
Really?
I got to go grab Preston, it is all right, I love my son. I'm going to do this,
Okay.
But there's in film, especially with the newer ones, if there's any sort of heights, I get uneasy.
Interesting.
Dude, so it's funny. Every time I see this, I totally relate to him when he goes the fear of planes, right? But mine's more so the fear of heights.
Yeah.
And being, and so I totally, in that regard, but thinking about it, I wonder if it's the same thing where it's not just necessarily the plane, but the height itself.
Yeah.
Because that would make this even more enjoyable with him running around and the uneasiness that he has of every corner is only magnified if you think about it with his fear of if I look out that window, my heart's going to sink,
Yeah. There's this kind of sense of, not call the void, because you can't just jump out of an airplane,
right?
But this sense of I could just fall out of this thing and tumble towards my inevitable death,
which he almost does.
Yeah, it's fine. I don't really have a fear of flying necessarily,
right?
When it comes to height, my fear would more likely be the idea that I'm putting my life in the hands of all these different factors.
Yeah. It's a control aspect.
The pilots, the mechanics of the plane, the sort of technical systems in place there, the control towers.
Anxiety just amplified.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's almost every other factor there except for the fear of how high up I am, because I'm already there.
Nope,
the idea of it for me is I'm in the situation already. There's no way I can get out of it. So if something happens, something happens.
Yeah.
But when it comes to heights, it does freak me out a little bit, but I wouldn't say I have a huge fear of it,
Yeah.
There is that sometimes call of the void, if I'm over a railing, I could just literally step off of it and just, there I go. Like the idea of that being a possibility that my brain just kind of connects to is what, gets the willies going for me.
Oh yeah. I'm everywhere. I hate heights.
Yeah. Is that your greatest fear? Heights?
Probably.
Yeah.
I don't. It's one of those things like I just don't acknowledge until I'm there.
Yeah.
Right. And then when it's happening, I'm like, all right, we're good. But yeah, there was I think it's a scene. Holly Gennaro, she's sitting there, Takagi comes in, and Jasmine's like, man, that's a beautiful view. And I was like, sure. She was like, what would you do in that office? I'd be like, throwing up 24/7.
Yeah. Take your word for it.
Staring down at the ground, and then it would just be a bucket next to me.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I mean, there's so much about like the character that I really think is just like the center of this movie working. But also there's so many other factors too that I think just contribute to this being like, spoilers for my thoughts, I think this movie's pretty fantastic.
Yeah, it's
one of those that's like just kind of undeniable.
It goes down so smooth.
Super fucking smooth. I watched this like 2 days ago, I think.
Yeah.
I watched this after I watched Home Alone.
I mean, this same. And I watched it back to back. But this is 2 hours and 12 minutes of, you're not really, if you hadn't seen it, right, the first time you watch it, I don't think you ever look at your watch. And by the time the ending hits, like, you kind of see it coming, but it's more so in the sense of, man, I kind of want another adventure to start here.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's one of the, once again, you're walking around with John McClane, especially if you relate to him or you're enjoying the situation that maybe not enjoying, but you're entertained by the situations that he's in. Every situation that pops up that he's got to get out of, it's a there's some strategy involved, right?
Yeah.
And it's kind of MacGruber-ish, it's kind of, hey, I've got the savvy, I know a little bit about the world around me.
I like how your mind went to MacGruber and not MacGyver.
Oh, God. I've probably seen MacGruber way too. I've never really watched MacGyver.
Yeah, me neither. I haven't watched either, to be fair. But I feel like I'm more.
It would be
aware.
more MacGyver than MacGruber. Let's just say that.
Yeah,
yeah. It's inherently because of his character and how fascinating it is. Just that I think, like I said, he's an everyday man, or everyday person. That it makes it so much more relatable, which makes it that much more enjoyable because your mind is not thinking, all right, like, hit the next checkbox, right? Like with action movies, I think that's why a lot of guys like it. Not, and it's because what you're going to get to at the next point.
Yeah, and there's like an association there with, I think, this idea of like power fantasy.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Kind of whether or not just watching something or vicariously thinking like, yeah, if I were this guy,
fuck yeah.
This would be cool if I could do this shit, right? Whereas, like, I think the secret magic of this movie, and I really noticed it this time watching it, is because we think about John McClane as a character. And I think part of why a lot of people have this association of, like, him being kind of cool, like, everyman, like, in this situation, getting shit done. I think a lot of that is contributed by some of the sequels that have come out since this movie, kind of painting him more as, like, standard issue action hero with, like, some quippy phrases or whatever.
Just gotten fucking redundant.
What works about this movie is that there's so many scenes in which you just get such a clear sense of the desperation from the character, whether or not it's from his voice or just like the lines that he did, like him going shit, Jesus Christ, like all the time. There's so many instances of him doing that where he's like just kind of on the verge of having a panic attack, and just like succumbing to what's raining down upon him, and that makes it very interesting and fun because it establishes the stakes of the situation, which, like, more than likely the main character's not going to get offed. You're watching this for, like, the thrill of it, but also you really get the real sense of, like, he feels he's in danger. Yeah. And it convinces you as the viewer that he is in danger.
Yeah. And I don't know with the action films of lore, if they did the thing where, he wanted to get caught, or hey, we're going to capture you, now you got to figure your way out of it. Like, I don't know when the James Bond came out in these films, or,
Yeah, because a lot of those movies were, like, very concerned with looking cool, establishing some kind of control over everything.
And let's get the main character in a predicament that it's going to really like, how does he get out of this? You know? And this always teetered on that, but we never got there.
Yeah.
Which is also another really fun element to it, is like he is putting also he's put in a lot of compromising positions that it is very believable on what happened, on how he would get out of it, right? And then some of the luck associated with what's occurring.
Yeah, there's a lot of luck, but also just like he gets by on sheer just like scrappiness and will.
Gumption.
Yeah. Like kind of, pull up your bootstraps, New York cop, roll up your sleeves, getting shit done energy.
Well, and I love, and he's always, and you can always tell that he, maybe not the smartest guy, but he is street smart, right?
Yeah.
And every place that he's going, he's catching up on things real quick. And it's just, he knows how to recognize a bad guy. Like if you boil this thing down, it's just a good guy is outnumbered by some bad guys. And he's got to use his wits to get around them, right?
Yeah.
And he does it just flawlessly. And it's not always the most elegant, and it's not always the best way to go about it. But like, because of who he is and his experience that he has, he's able to maneuver around the environment and the situations.
Yeah. This is a movie in which like it kind of sits you down and tells you like, yeah, you're going to get like a little bit of your power fantasy here, but also you're going to know that it's going to suck for this guy the entire time.
Oh, dude, the glass in the feet situation.
Oh, yeah. Shoot the glass.
Yeah. What? I remember my dad, like for the second or third time I saw it, he goes, boy, you would not know how to handle yourself.
Yeah.
If you ever had, like, think of a twig getting stuck in your foot. Now imagine 50 of them. And I'm like, and it is funny because it is a movie, there's a little of a disassociation with like the pain or, the empathy that you're supposed to be feeling. But like, when you can kind of put yourself into that situation and just think about that, like there's a lot of grit involved.
So a little bit of a story time. Megan and I took a trip to Traverse City this past year.
Okay.
And we went to this place called Mission Point Lighthouse, kind of on this like very small sliver of a peninsula towards like the northern part of the state of Michigan. And the lighthouse itself was very cool. Mm-hmm. Got a hat from it. Nice. Very neat. But one of my favorite parts of it was because it's right by a beach.
The John McClane experience.
Yeah. Well, I'm getting there. It's right on this beach where there's like a good part of the beach where there's this huge sandbar, and you can just like walk out to it. And it was one of the most kind of like gorgeous nature, like ethereal things that I'd seen.
Yeah, like living in the Revenant.
Kind of, yeah. Yeah. Very, very picturesque that way, and just, the existence of it. And so I took my shoes off, took my socks off, and I started walking out there. Not too bad at first. It's mostly kind of just soft sand or whatever.
Yeah.
The further out I get, the rockier it is.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a lot of very little jagged rocks and like some like, not seashells because it's on the lake, but like things like that just like poke at the bottom of your feet. And the more you walk out, the more painful it gets. And I walked out there for quite a while.
Right.
And I just kind of had to like grit through it and like suffer the pain of my feet. They weren't like bleeding or anything. It's not nearly to the effect of like what John McClane goes through in this. But I was watching this the whole time thinking, if I like wince at stepping on rocks on the beach, there's no way I'm surviving this situation. Yeah. That scene where he like drags himself into the bathroom and like the trail of blood from his feet is so fucking gnarly. Yeah. Like I wince every single time I watch it.
I mean, even as like a young person watching it, like I was like, oh, that would suck. And now the older that you get and the more feet problem that you have, you can really empathize with them.
Yeah.
And you're like, God bless it. Like,
and he's supposed to be like what? Late 30s, early 40s in this movie? Like
somewhere in that time frame. 33, 35, somewhere. Because I think someone said their name and I was looking around like, I've missed the boat on, rising through a corporation. Mm-hmm. And then two, like, geez, like how far have we come with modern medicine?
Yeah.
Because it was something, it's one of those things too. You hear people when they name drop them, especially in movies, and they're like, he's an aspiring CEO. And it's like, you're 32. What are you going to do the next 8 years? And I just look, I'm like, fuck. I remember watching this like 10, 15 years ago being like, yeah, that guy. And
Yeah.
Like, Jesus.
It's wacky to watch movies like this and be like, wow, people that are like my age look like this and do these things.
Yeah, exactly. And seeing it from damn near 30, 40 years ago.
Yeah. But I don't know. There is something to the idea that like his inherent look as like this kind of slightly disheveled New York cop really aids the characterization.
Well, and
quite a bit.
then we get the contrast once we get the heist involved, right? Like now we've got all of these guys coming in, clean cut on designer clothes, working as a team, and it's a great contrast. Everything that's going on. Like you mentioned, like it's kind of, bumbling cop, wife beater versus, the guy that's got, they're in the elevator, he's like, Roy Johnson.
Yeah.
1986 collection. I got 2 of those.
Yeah.
And he's talking to the guy that has like damn near $1 billion in 1988.
Yeah. It's a good juxtaposition to have the villains of this movie be this kind of wealth-oriented European, like very kind of like snobbish intellectual types.
Yes.
Whereas, the smart thing of that is like, yeah, you frame it against this guy who, because people who go to watch this movie are more likely to relate to McClane than they are Hans Gruber.
I'd hope so.
I would hope so. And so, yeah, that's just very easy decision making in terms of characters right there.
And it's a fun little, so when they get introduced, like you said, the snobby intellectual type, but also they aren't physically overpowering. This isn't like when you have Schwarzenegger in there, you got to hire, Carl Weathers, or you got to get in, Mr. T, someone that's also a physical presence around him.
Jesse Ventura.
Yeah, like with the villains in this thing, like they are very much like you look like if they got into a fist fight, and at one point they do. But it's interesting. I mean, it's it's almost like something that you feel like you'd see on the news reading one day.
Yeah,
with the whole situation that's going on.
So speaking of news, and I want to get into sort of the portrayal of like the police in this movie.
Oh.
Because you rewatch this movie.
Oh, dude, they are fucking.
The more you watch this, the more you realize how kind of anti-cop this movie really is.
Well, I don't know. So I had an interesting take on it. Mm-hmm. I don't know if they dumbed him down in L.A. to make like McClane seem that much more elevated.
Yeah.
In his role. I don't know, like you said, because of the LA riots hadn't happened yet, but there probably was an inherent problem in that city with cops.
Yeah, the LAPD already kind of had a reputation, I think, at that time.
And the problem, too, is that they bring in those FBI guys who are almost just as stupid.
Johnson & Johnson?
But with more money. My name is Agent Johnson. This is Special Agent Johnson. We'll be taking over the situation.
Their characters are fun. I mean, they're scummy and they suck, but they're also fun.
There's a point that you are asking yourself, are they, even this time watching it, I was like, I can't remember if they're attached to this or not. Because this would be another level of, like, I mean, you want to find some seedy cops, right?
Yeah.
Or hey, like, you're a federal agent, you only make $60,000. Like, we're going to take $640 million worth of bearer bonds. We'll kick, $2 million to both of you guys. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't, especially how they're portrayed in a world, see them saying no.
Right. It's just interesting to me that other than McClane or Al Powell, other than those two characters, the cops in this movie are either portrayed as being woefully incompetent,
oh my God, yeah,
or just like heartless scumbags.
Yeah.
Because when they're in the helicopter riding towards the roof,
oh my God,
they're like, we can afford to lose what, like 10, 20% of the hostages? Yeah, sounds good to me.
Yeah, we'll lose 20 to 25% of the hostages, but we'll get our guys. Yeah.
Yeah. Hoorah. This is just like Saigon.
Yeah. What?
It's like, I was in fucking junior high, motherfucker.
Yeah. This movie's got a lot of comedy to it, too. There's a good amount of laughs. Like, it's so well balanced with the tone.
Well, it's such good line delivery mixed with, like, the kind of juxtaposing goal of what he's saying. So, like, him saying that in relation to, we can lose about like what 20% of the people down there.
Yeah,
it's like just such a dark thing, but the way it's played is so funny because it's such a thrown away line.
Well, and that's what I'm saying with some of the exposition when they just hit you with these things. Like you can tell that obviously he's like soulless because he was in Vietnam and he was in a helicopter mowing people down. So like to him, those lost lives, it's just a number.
Yeah.
Almost like sociopathic.
Mm-hmm.
No, I had a little bit of a revelation or a metaphor or an analogy for this movie being a little bit about corporations chasing the American dream and having all of these elements play into a fact of life, like family at the end of the day, preserving family and what it takes to hold on to your family.
Yep.
And having this being such a Christmas experience, I think it was intended for, we had it on Christmas to show the evils of corporations, right? And what it looks like to have, the terrorists kind of come in and they're essentially like a merger or acquisition or another entity trying to take over, right? And you have a hardworking woman, and it's the bootstraps of John McClane coming in to save the day as being the American dad, right? And then the local police are kind of like your local taxes. This is what you're paying for, right? Ultimately, you're seeing what the fruits of your labor are going towards, and here comes the federal government with their federal taxes, and you see what they're taking from you, and it's all of this shit just getting thrown at you constantly, and it's this idea about hey, like I will trudge through this to save my family, like we're gonna stay together, and that's why I think that the backdrop of Christmas plays such a big role in this, because it's the ultimate corporate holiday, right? Like I know that we church it up for a lot of spiritual reasons and the joys of giving back, right? But at the end of the day, this thing, it feels like it's just been perpetuated to the point now where it's like, hey, it's how we increase our GDP by 2% as a nation.
Yeah, I mean the whole reason why they're having the Christmas party is because they just they had a successful merger, or
they got a deal. International business thanks to Ellis.
Yeah. So the idea that this backdrop being so perpetuated by such capitalist motivations, whether or not it's like the company celebrating record profits or your tax dollars going towards these police who just cannot do anything to fucking save anyone.
Yeah.
Or the idea of someone like Alan Rickman just coming in and taking it for themselves.
Yeah.
It's like, all the problems in this movie just stem from this idea that you can just come in and take it whenever you want.
Yeah.
And John McClane being the fly in the ointment, it's like,
no.
The
everyman, right?
The everyman.
Hey.
The guy who is able to like hold his head high above everyone else.
Yeah.
And comes out of it the most beat up.
Well, yeah,
he's like one of the only ones who has
gumption. God damn it!
Yeah, it does kind of just show the inherent sort of suffering that his character goes because of just like his just innate goodness.
Yeah, and all the shit that he has to trudge through while doing it, right? And getting to that end of the. It's really funny now that I'm thinking about it, like. All right, here comes your local taxes. Here comes here comes your boss coming over here to say this, and by the end of it, just thinking about how he looks, just like a freaking boxer that won 10 rounds.
Yeah.
Like, all right, well, I got my wife and kids. We're gonna go hang out, and I'm gonna go to sleep.
I love the use of the location. So this is a real skyscraper that they filmed at, called the Fox Tower. In this movie, it's called Nakatomi Plaza. Very iconic name that just sticks in your head.
Truly.
And it helps that they say it a few times throughout the movie. But I think for the most part, they use that real location. A lot of the like kind of exterior stunt work was at that building. Mm-hmm. I think the only thing that I read was a set was the main party area, where they have like the kind of like waterfall thing.
Yeah.
And, where all the hostages are gathered for the most part during the movie.
Imagine being at a business and having your own place to sleep and shower.
That's crazy. Yeah. It kind of shows like the amount of amenities that you had at your disposal in the 80s that I feel like we just don't have anymore, either for like, I don't know, cutting costs or like safety reasons, like what have you.
You gotta just stop that cutting costs.
Sure. But you also have scenes of John McClane firing up a cigarette in the airport. Or
that's that's very true.
Just like all this like spacious room on the plane, which that would be a cutting cost thing. But I don't know, just the idea of like this commodification of just every aspect, no matter what.
Yeah.
That I feel is just like such a quaint thing to watch in a movie like this now, because a lot of that is just so lost to time, you know?
Yeah, bring it back.
Bring it back.
Yeah, let's get some beds and some freaking showers and a kitchen somewhere.
Yeah.
Right?
Bring back smoking in the airport. That's what we're saying. Fuck the TSA. Yeah, a lot of like great characters just alongside John McClane in this too.
Yes.
Like I do like Holly. Bonnie Bedelia.
Yep.
Great.
Ellis is
great
fantastic.
Love interest. Ellis, probably one of the unsung MVPs of this movie.
Yeah.
Just in terms of characters and how much fun they're having on screen.
Out of the park for a guy that's got like 6 minutes of runtime.
Yeah. And I guess John McTiernan didn't initially like the performance he was giving, but he kind of lightened up a bit when he saw some of the producers reacting positively to him hamming it up on screen. He probably just thought it was like too ham-fisted. This like,
probably.
Yeah, it's too obvious that you're just like a coked up exec who's an asshole.
Like, what do you want him to do?
Right. But he nails it.
He does.
His teeth are a little too shiny. His beard's a little too trimmed.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys that's like able to play like this too slick, ratty corporate asshole.
Well, and when they announce his title and the business and what he does, you know, very, very on the nose. You know,
Speaking of on the nose.
Oh, yeah, I missed the spot.
There's another reason why this is a Christmas movie. A lot of snow.
Oh, yeah, tons of snow.
Tons of snow.
Tons of snow.
And it ain't on the ground outside. It's all on his nose.
Yeah. I really I loved his performance. I love that they get him back in there. I also love, too, that he's always doing a rail. So, like... The best thing is like when he's like, fuck it, I'm ending this. Like he hits another line and then he's like, I'm going to go talk to these guys. I was like, no wonder it went south for you, dude.
Well, it's such a great scene too, because you can just kind of see progressively on his face the dawning of, oh, I'm actually in danger the longer that this is going on.
Yeah. You know,
and I'm not a part of this as a game anymore.
Oh yeah. I've officially moved into out of pawn status, right? Yeah, it's probably the only one where you know it's going south.
Yeah,
right.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think when Takagi gets popped at first, you're like, oh, we're on.
Yeah,
you know, and that's a little disheartening, but when he gets in there and he's trying to play his cards, you're like, dude, you're a piece of shit. Like, how do you think this is gonna go?
It's also something that you can kind of telegraph because they wrote Ellis in such a way in which, like, yeah, this guy's just kind of an asshole. Something's gonna happen to him because we as audience members are not supposed to like this guy.
Yeah.
And so, like, either he's gonna like get blown up, or you know, Hans is gonna shoot him in the head, which is ultimately what happens. And it's like, yeah, you could just see where it's going. But it doesn't take away from the effect of the scene either way.
No.
Because now it feels like John has this, like, weight of life on his shoulders.
Well, and you know he takes it very seriously, too.
Yeah.
That's one of the brilliant things about this, too, is that once we get to that point, it's high stakes. But you also feel it's high stakes, right? And you understand that John, with this decision that he has to make, is ultimately for the better good of the people. But it's not something that he takes lightly, you know. And also, it plays into his character a little bit too. With I'm going to tell you what to do, you're going to do it. If you don't listen to me, it's over. But like I can only give this to you right now because I have to take my next steps, right? Mm-hmm. And so that scene, while you know it's coming, and once again, the tone and the pacing of this thing's so well done because you get to that point and you're still kind of on the edge of your seat with how is this going to go. You know,
and it's a good reality check because up until that point, you've got John McClane quipping off, saying these kind of one-liners, you know, talking to himself, talking over the radio, kind of having fun with it. This is a good scene in which, like, it kind of reminds you of the supposed suspension of reality. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, this is you know, real to you as a character. Don't forget that. These are human lives that you're playing with.
Yeah, it grounds you a little bit, right? Yeah, because up to that point, it was kick-ass, and we're moving around, and all of a sudden, he's now interacting with a hostage.
Yeah.
And it kind of hits you back, and it brings you back into that element of like, oh, yeah, they could still do some damage to some people here.
Yeah, and it's a good way to, like, bring you back to the reality of it without, like, sacrificing the fun of it.
Yeah.
And another good indication of that sort of working in this movie's favor is the decision to because I think in the original book they were just straight up terrorists.
Okay.
Like they were just like, yeah, we're here to fuck shit up.
Yeah.
We have political motivations, blah blah blah. John McTiernan, I think, had the smart decision making of making them bank robbers, or it was probably Jeb Stewart who decided to include that.
Yeah.
The decision to make them robbers instead of terrorists was a good one because it takes away from the kind of all too real reality that we endure when it comes to like terrorist attacks, of like, people who are harmed in that way. Whereas this one, it makes it way more interesting when you layer it with the idea of like, yeah, we're presenting ourselves as like these European terrorists, but we're really just here to steal your money.
Well, and it does a good job too. I mean, with kind of you forget how smart Hans is with all this, right? And how much John plays a foil to him, because his whole plan is we're going to present it in this light. Ultimately, we're seeking political, not ultimately, but our misdirection here is we're seeking this is politically motivated, right? So like when the events unfold with supposedly how we're going to get out of this, it's all going to make sense. So I think up to a certain point too. I mean, at least for me, like remembering the first time, I always thought they were like it wasn't probably till like 5-6 years ago that I was like, oh, they're just bank robbers.
Yeah.
But that's another credit to the film where it still makes you believe that they are politically motivated at some point, and I think when they finally, hey, this isn't it, is when he's like telling him the people to release.
Yeah.
And then he hits him with the what is it? The Sri Lankan prisoners. And the guy's like, Sri Lankan? And he goes, I read about it in Times, which is another fun part too. Like they can take these very serious moments and make them like very, I don't want to say grounded, but realistic, right? Like you could see that happening with someone where it's like you say something and you look like, what?
Yeah, it makes the characters human and interesting in a way that you never really saw in movies like that before.
Right. Yeah.
And I think I read that Jeb Stewart wrote the script with the idea that we were kind of following Hans Gruber as sort of like the pseudo protagonist, because it helps to see that perspective when you have like an even amount of back and forth. Because if it's just with the hero, you lose a lot of that luster, a lot of that magic.
Yep.
And I guess that's kind of how the book was. It's like written in first person. You don't leave his side.
Right.
And with this one, it's such a smart way of just layering all these different character affectations onto these different dynamics, which makes it really fun.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the best scenes in this movie, in my opinion, is when Hans Gruber just runs into fucking John McClane.
Yeah.
Almost forgot the name of the fucking main character that's iconic in this movie. But I guess that came about because they were listening to Hans Gruber, Alan Rickman, mess around with an American accent. And they knew that they wanted to include a scene that had them meet before the actual like final confrontation of the movie.
Right.
But they were like, how do we get that to happen without them just killing each other?
Right.
And so they decided, oh, he'll just pretend to be an American that took place at the party, and we'll reconstruct the scene in which he's like listening in on his conversation with Takagi to where like he doesn't see what he looks like. And so it'll work out that way. And it's such a great scene. It's a great use of that tension, I think. And I don't know, it's just one that always sticks out to me that I always look forward to when I rewatch this movie.
Well, and it's a chess match too. Like that it doesn't have to be the bronze versus the bronze, right? Like, so you've got a situation in which the antagonist of the film comes up, meets the protagonist, right? Now all of a sudden you have to quickly process to come up with something. So he hits him with his American accent. McClane also being in the situation of not being able to trust people, but how do I figure out how this guy, is he trustworthy or not, right? And so you've got this like little back and forth where both of them are, one knows and the other one has suspicions, right? So how are we gonna figure this out? And ultimately, it comes down to John McClane's wits. To what's like a item here that I could give him that I could figure out if I could trust him or not. So he gives him the gun and there's no bullets in it, and that's there's no bullets in it. What do you think, I'm an idiot?
You think I'm stupid, Hans?
Yeah, yeah, right. Like, and it's just there's no exchange of gunfire, people punching each other. It's literally, and then Hans has to come up with a name on the fly, so he sees the elevator listing, and he hits him with that. Clay. Yeah.
Bill Clay.
Yeah. And and fucking John McClane the whole time, like he's doing his cop, right? Like, is this a suspect? Is this a guy that is telling me the truth? I have to read all of his pantomimes going on right now? Like, it's just it's a really fun scene, and it's one too that is so iconic, right? When people kind of talk about this film, like you're talking about three scenes, probably 4 scenes with people that recognize this thing. For it to only have been like 2.5 minutes, like every time I fucking watch this thing, I always think that they do some running around, right? Like they go through the rafters or they're climbing stairs, and it's literally just them exchanging probably 2 minutes worth of dialogue, and then it's back on. But it's so much. There's so much more grandeur around it, So it's a great scene.
I mean, great scenes of like character dialogue exchanges and like just quippy lines, but also like too. I think we got to give credit to like a lot of the set pieces in this movie. Do you have a favorite like kind of action set piece?
Yeah, easily. It is it's the fire escape, right? Or the fire hose. Yeah,
I think that's mine too.
Yeah, where he all of a sudden everything's about to go. It's either going off, it's about to go off, right?
Yep.
And he recognizes it, attaches it around his waist. He jumps. So the big thing is he's got to jump off this 35-story building, right? He's got a fear of heights, so this is already like no go. He gets to the glass. He gets to the window. Now he's got to think, how do I bust through this thing, right? He doesn't know that it's about to drop on him, so he's doing a couple bounces. He realizes, all right, I'll shoot it, burst through it. But then the cherry on top is now that thing falls off and he's attached to it. And it's a matter of seconds that he's got to, dude, think about if it took you 2 seconds to go like, oh shit, I got to do, like he's off.
Yeah.
Right? Like it just goes to show you how fast you have to process and think on your feet.
It's such a great use of the escalation of the action in this movie.
Yeah.
Not just like that scene is like the perfect representation of that for the entire film and how that just like keeps going throughout the entire runtime. It's so good.
His face at the end of it, I always
his face, his tank top at the end is just off completely.
Well, I'm saying like at that scene, like he gets it off and he has this like, holy fuck, I just dodged a bullet look where his heart's racing so much and he's trying to breathe and he's got so much adrenaline going and he's like, I'm still alive, but he just says it's like. Everything he does in the scene, he's always smirking or like he's got like a scowl on, it's an oh shit moment. And that is the most human I think I've ever seen someone look in a film after some event like that happens. Because a lot of the time there's always someone's got to say something, right? Or like we just roll over, pounce up and we're off. Like for them to capture it and his look of relief with adrenaline pumping through, I always... If I had a still frame and any time that I got into a situation that was like, wow, I just escaped, like, whatever. Like, that's how I envision I look.
Yeah. I mean, that's why Bruce Willis's performance in this is probably my favorite of his. I don't know if I can think of another one that I like more than this movie. I mean, he's got a lot of good performances and a lot of good roles, but at the end of the day, I think there's maybe 2 movies that you could say would be in the title of like, whenever he passes away, what's going to be on the news headline? Like Bruce Willis, star of Die Hard. The other one will probably be The Sixth Sense, right?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. But like this to me is like my number one of his with a bullet for sure.
Oh yeah, no, I don't. Anytime we talk Bruce Willis, I think there's two films. It's ultimately Die Hard and Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, Pulp Fiction being up there too.
He's just in a supporting role in that.
Fucking great career. It's one of those where, despite a lot of the cognitive issues that were driving his decisions for like a lot of the movies he was in, like the last 10 years or so.
Yeah, yeah.
Even with that in mind, to have like a run of the movies he was in is just absolutely legendary.
Oh yeah, he's one of the best, and I don't think he really gets his due because he's got that. He's not Brad Pitt or Leo, right? Like he doesn't have that chin that you're looking at. Like, damn, he's not Stallone, Schwarzenegger. Where he's got this physique around him. A lot of the films, and I think unfairly, like with some of the action stuff, he just got thrust into it. Like he got kind of pigeonholed, right? Like we're gonna get you on screen because they're gonna go, that's the guy that was in Die Hard, and I think it was a little unfair for him. And then a couple of his decisions, I mean, maybe not. I mean, he's better than Costner, but the level at which he goes and acts, I don't know. He's got a certain look around him.
Well, I think there's something to be said about the fact that a lot of people would primarily think of him as an action star, but putting his like kind of bad output of movies the last 10 years aside, I think that there is something to be said about the fact that he did have a chance to like kind of stretch his legs in other genres.
Oh yeah,
and there's a lot of people who appreciate him for those performances as well, like him in Moonrise Kingdom, him in Death Becomes Her, him in dramatic roles like Sixth Sense and Unbreakable, things that show his range as an actor in a way that's like, yeah, this guy's talented even beyond like this sort of movie star action persona, in which like he still puts a lot of layer and thought into past like, yeah, I'm just gonna look cool and have muscles, like what a lot of those guys did back then.
Yeah, and I think this also opened him up because it shows you how much character he can bring to the character, right? This is, I think, in the hands of someone else in this thing. Like, I have a hard time. I think we've talked about this before when you kind of envision a different actor being in a certain role. And obviously, this is an iconic role for him, but it's very hard to think about someone from 1988. And I want to say he was the third or fourth choice for this film.
He was one of the last ones. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think he leveraged $5 million because they had already started production on this thing, and they had like shot a couple things with a certain person in mind.
It's like, you have no other choice but to pay me this much.
Yeah, and exactly. But it's very hard for me to think about someone else during that time that you could throw in there that would have that effect.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I think he's a fine actor. I like him. I don't know. I'm not really rushing out to Bruce Willis movies, but I think that's because I caught him in like the late '90s, early 2000s, where I've seen Die Hard, Pulp Fiction. Maybe at that time it was close to it. Pulp Fiction was like HBO night.
Yeah,
I remember. Anyways, and then M. Night.
Yep.
So his kind of like, where am I at? And then he had a couple Disney movies that came out, The Kid being one of them. And it's just like, it didn't resonate with me. But yeah, he's had quite the career.
Yeah. And
this, I would say, is his, is it totemic?
Very role? Totemic. Absolutely. Yeah. Is there anything else we wanted to talk about that we haven't mentioned yet? I feel like there's so many things.
Oh, there's so many small things production-wise. Score. John Williams does the score of this thing. I'm fairly... Oh, no, maybe that was Home Alone.
That's Home Alone.
God dang it.
That'd be crazy. If
oh, well, he's over everything. It was Home Alone.
You watch the building blow up and you hear...
Well, this thing has a very... Maybe it's not iconic, but it does suit the film well.
It suits it very well. Yeah. I think it's worth mentioning Jan de Bont doing the cinematography.
Jan de Bont. That's a name I haven't heard in quite some time.
Yeah, Speed. Twister.
Yeah, Jan de Bont. That's right.
Speed 2, Cruise Control.
Hell yeah.
Sorry, I got sick there. At the
end. My God, how dare you.
I threw up everywhere.
It's like me looking out that window.
No, I think there is something worth talking about, at least a little bit, with the idea that this movie set such a precedent for action films after it came out, right? Like, this movie was a hit, was very successful, and then every other studio that was going to make an action movie wanted to make their version of a Die Hard.
Yes.
And so, you got, and I know the intentionality is different, but you've got people who view Speed as like, yeah, Die Hard on a bus, or like Speed 2, Die Hard on a boat. Other movies that have come out within like the last like 30 years that have tried to like kind of emulate that sort of idea of Die Hard. Like, what if we do Die Hard, but it's like, we call it Skyscraper, and it stars Dwayne The Rock Johnson, and he's got a prosthetic leg. Like shit like that, where it's like, a lot of these like kind of trapped action premises, in which like the hero has to like vanquish the villains in this like structure of some kind, or like, Die Hard on a train, Die Hard on a fucking submarine. Like, this kind of became pretty.
It was the archetype for action movies.
Yeah, very, very, very like big archetype for that thing.
There are movies that come out where they are a little bit, and you never know it, but like revolutionary at the time.
Yeah.
Right. And all of a sudden people want to emulate that, and they want to copycat it, and they go, well, how do we get our pinch of the money? Right.
Not that I necessarily think they're on the same caliber, but a very similar thing with John Wick. That movie came out, and then all of a sudden the priority for action movies was wide lenses, like very long takes, and like planned out choreography. It's
no knock. I mean, people see success, and I think that's why it's such a copycat industry. That's why you like your A24s of the world, or your I can't remember, Neon, right, because those are really fresh take on ideas, where like these major studios just pump out like, well, what gets asses in seats, what's worked, what's the blueprint, you know. And it's always nice to talk about, especially something like Die Hard 2, where it's just in nomenclature. I feel like you could bring it up with a lot of different people, and they would recognize it. They would say, John, like, I get fucking, dude, you know how every one out of three people, if they don't know me, if I tell them my name's McClane, I get like the Die Hard guy. You know how, like, what I'm saying? Like, that's how popular it is. And
even though it's spelled differently.
Yes. And there's like 9 ways to spell McClane. It's insane. But point being is, though, I think a little bit of that respect goes away over time, because it's been copycated so much, where you don't really recognize it as being the inception or the origin of some of these types of films.
Some people can watch this movie and be like, oh, this movie's like tropey. It's got like all this shit going on that I've seen
it before.
And it's like, motherfucker, where do you think those things came from?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why I feel some of the time too, like when we talk about older films, is like just putting the respect on the name, like kind of Halloween. Right? Where you have to you go into this time warp, and you have to say, well, obviously now 50 years later, we can say this stuff, but like at the time, it is drastically different than what audience members were expecting or seeing. And that's one of the things if we haven't beat you over the head enough, that's what we're saying about Die Hard here, is that like this film is original for its time, and for it to nail the characters, the writing, the cinematography, because there are a lot of fun shots in this thing too.
Yeah.
Like a lot of fun shots. The vent shot is, everyone recognizes that gif, right? Where he's got the lighter on. Hey, come the way,
I think one of the first things when you search John McClane Die Hard is him in the vent with the lighter.
And it's one of those, like I said, because you've seen it so many times, it kind of loses its lust, but like, putting the perspective that we're going to talk about it, when they popped that on, I was like, that's fun. This is a great shot. You feel how claustrophobic this is. Once again, our hero's put in an awkward situation, not necessarily like life or death, but what is occurring here right now, I definitely get the sense of where he's at.
Yeah.
Right?
A good kind of sense of like stakes and geography of the characters and the environment, and like the way that it's like laid out on a technical level.
Yes.
Super impressive and holds up very well still.
I know we're wrapping up here. I think the last thing is there's a lot of callbacks in this thing, which I really appreciate, that they mentioned something early on in the film happening, or at least setting up for events to occur, right? One of the easiest ones is fist with your feet. Right, but it sets off the reason why he doesn't have shoes. It's some of the storytelling are these maybe not foreshadowing, but at least setting off the chain of events for it to occur. The one that I finally recognized this time, and maybe you'd recognize it from the previous times you'd seen it, but Ellis, they give Holly a watch, and they go, the company pitched in, we got her a watch. It's a Rolex, and so that those things are very expensive, this, that, and the other. But at the end of the film, Hans is holding on to the watch.
Yeah.
And they have to unclasp the watch to have it, so not only is she going to lose this watch and all the money that's attached to it, could be more of symbolic for maybe her moving past the company, but it was just one of those fun things where it's like, oh my God, like they that is almost what do you call that, the Russian gun, the Chekhov's
gun. Yeah.
Right, and oh, great, you got the watch. That's awesome. It does play into something later on in the film, and I think they do that quite a bit throughout the film. I wish I wrote down a couple more examples on that.
Yeah.
But that was the one that stood out to me this time. What was that happening? And it's just subtle, and there's a lot of subtleties in this film too that also make it a lot more enriching.
That scene when Hans is falling, Alan Rickman, I guess, actually fell somewhere between, I read it was like between 20 and like 70 feet. They don't have like an exact estimation. It's a pretty big gap in distances.
2 to 7 stories, right? Did they say a story's 10 feet?
I think so.
Yeah.
But when they were going to drop him, they said, all right, we're going to count to 3, and on 3, we'll let you go. And they went 1, and then they just let him go.
Nice.
So to get that reaction from him.
Oh, that face.
That face where he's just like...
Oh, such an iconic...
He's just genuinely like, fuck. Like,
yeah.
That like panic in his brain.
It makes a lot more sense because that's a great shot. The other one that I was also thinking about too, he's talking to Al, right?
Yeah.
Al tells the story about why he's not really no longer a street cop, more of a pencil pusher.
Yeah.
And he talks about he hasn't fired his gun since the incident, right? What ends up happening?
He shoots the last bad guy.
Yeah. It's just there's small subtleties right there that just let you know, like, everything that feels like it has intent and purpose while also being like grounded and very humane.
Yeah.
Hey, it's a great fucking movie.
Have you seen the other ones?
Yeah.
Die Hards. Okay.
Come on. I mean, it's.
I didn't know if you'd seen all of them or if you've only seen a few.
No,
of them.
I wasn't too snobby, and they get a little bit more and more ridiculous. And I think I saw them at 2. I was like, this is kind of not great.
I remember 2 being like fine, but not memorable.
It's
in
exactly
nearly any way.
Yeah, they
basically just copied the first movie, but like
put it in an airport.
Yeah, and made it less charming.
Yeah, exactly, and a little bit more silly with some of the tactics, right, and the strategy. And there's a little bit they try to do more misdirection with it, because I think at some point there's 2 parties working together. Anyways, yeah. So I've seen the second one. You've seen all of them too.
I've seen the second one and the third one. I've seen probably the last half of the fourth one.
Live Free or Die Hard.
Live Free or Die Hard, and then I have not even.
No, I wrote it off.
I've not even thought about touching Die Another Day or whatever the fuck it's called.
They did Live Free or Die Hard. I kind of got excited about that coming out, and then it's just like, this is like almost a satire on the first one.
Yeah,
like this isn't even.
It kind of mirrors the Rambo franchise of like, well, now this is just kind of a monstrosity of what the first movie was sort of commentating against a little bit.
Well, and
this guy has horrible PTSD, and then all of a sudden we have the follow-up movie where he's like blowing people up in Vietnam.
My God, but they do it. It's not ironically done. That's where I get, hey, if you're gonna pull back some of this IP and you're gonna, let's hop back into Die Hard, like, fucking be self-referential or self-aware, right? Like, don't go like, oh man, they just love the ass kicking, so let's up that. We'll lose the characters and everything will just be a fucking car chase.
Yeah,
like, no.
What do people love about Die Hard? Explosions, guns, yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
Yeah, just give him 2 hours of that.
Yeah.
It's like Timothy Oliphant, and he's like some fucking cybersecurity guy.
He's like a cyber terrorist.
Yeah.
And I think isn't that movie PG-13? So he
probably.
I think he says yippee-ki-yay, mother, and then it like cuts.
Yeah. Yeah, that was. I think they did it in the trailer or something like that, where they're like, "Oh, he's gonna really say it," and then in the movie he doesn't, and you're like, "Oh wow, this sucks."
Wow, I just shit my pants.
Yeah, yeah, in theaters. No, the third one. The only redeemable thing from the third one is there's like some riddles. Jeremy Irons is in it, and the riddles play into.
I thought Sam Jack was fun, at least. You know, kind of them. Pre-Pulp Fiction, cutting it up a little bit.
Dude, I can't. Everything that was good about the first one, they just fucked out of the next four. You know, they're like, what? So in that one, they're like, hey, we kind of lost Al. Like, how do we get him back, but a little bit more saucy?
Yeah.
Oh, let's pair him up with like a guy off the New York streets.
I remember him being in the second one and thinking, this is the most shoehorned thing of all time.
The relationship just felt like we had a falling out 10 years ago, and we just have to stand next to each other now. You know, like we're doing this for the press.
Yeah.
We still don't like each other. Yeah, it's shoehorned in. No shit. He's like, I got to get back on a plane to get to my wife again because now she's back in New York. And got to go save her. And I've been a cop for 13 years. Oh, Al, what are you doing here? Wow. Man, that's crazy coincidence. Jesus.
Movie magic. Shall we get into ratings for Die Hard?
Yeah.
I go first,
Yeah.
I think, right?
Yeah.
First and foremost, before we get into ratings, absolutely a Christmas movie.
Oh, of course. Well, we had to do it, right?
Anyone who doesn't think that this is a Christmas movie can get sent into space.
Yeah. Go lick bricks.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't
Go punch sand.
God bless it. Yeah, you got to have Santa Claus or the spirit of Christmas. How about the fucking capitalism, huh? Corporate America thrust in there. How do you like that?
Plus, Christmas is all over this movie.
Yes.
From the score to the presents to the reason that they're there. The whole, like, I don't know, even like the presentation of it just like being at night and like the certain color grading choices.
Yeah.
To me, it's like, yeah, this is very purposefully constructed with the Christmas season in mind.
Hell yes.
There's a lot more intentionality than I think people would give this credit for.
No, they just say it's a backdrop, and just because it's thrust in there, it makes it. They're like, you could do this on the 4th of July. Like, no, you couldn't. This would not work if you wanted to do this on Veterans Day.
Yeah.
All right. Like, there is everything surrounding why he's there and what's going on with family, with gifts, with freaking money, all of it. And Argyle.
Yeah. This is absolutely a Christmas movie.
Thank you. I was not expecting it to go that way.
So yeah, my rating for this, this is undeniably, in my opinion, a masterpiece. I think when it comes to thinking about just totemic movies that set a precedent for an entire genre, I think it's hard to not think of Die Hard when having that conversation.
It's a very valid point.
I think that there's so many things about this movie that have aged well, and even if some of the stuff that people can watch this movie and point to as like, it's kind of tropey, it's like this set the precedent for that.
Yeah.
This set the stage for so much of like what we see in movies now, for better or worse, but it doesn't take away from the luster of this film in of its own right. This is my favorite John McTiernan movie, for sure my favorite Bruce Willis movie, and this is a 10 out of 10.
Wow. Holy smokes.
Mm-hmm.
Did not see that coming.
Goes down so smooth. It's so fun. I could watch it again right now, honestly. I could just throw it on.
It's yes, there are certain films that come out with the tone, the pacing, themes. I mean, and not to say this is all encompassing, but it feels like you're watching a real life event happen, right? And I think when cinema can get that right, and to me it's like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, right? Just hanging out with those guys, being around them, seeing them just going throughout their days. When you want to just live in that world, you know that they hit it on the head. This thing is, I mean, I've been watching Die Hard forever, right? And the more I think they've watered it down with some of the other things that have come out in regards to the Die Hard franchise, also with action films. I think what happens is it gets beat up by the pace it's set in terms of setting the standard for, the everyman action film, right? I think James Bond was kind of on that trail, but that guy, it's James Bond, right? John McClane isn't your everyday. Well, he's not your action hero. You know, the screenwriting for this thing, just it's such a hard time thinking about it when we talk about it being so maybe grounded or very humanistic, right? Like these characters that never really at any one point ever feel like they're archetypes or tropey or disingenuous.
There's a clear level of passion that this movie has that is so easy to pinpoint.
Yes. And I mean, and all of everything that's occurring on there, it's almost like you could be in that position and thinking about, how do I get out of this situation? Which you can't say when you're watching friggin' Thanos running around the galaxy, you know? And it's just, you could throw this on at any point in the day, any day of the year, any year of the millennium,
any year of the century.
Sure. And enjoy yourself. So I'm with you. 10 out of 10.
Could you imagine if Thanos was played by Bruce Willis? Hey, I'm coming for the Infinity Stones. I got the Time Stone now. I just got to get the Reality Stone.
Hey, come to Earth. Get the Soul Stone. Have a nice time.
Reality is what I make it. Hey, Vision, give me that thing in your head. Cool. Well, speaking of Christmas movies. We have a bit of a treat for you guys. I picked Home Alone as my choice of movie to discuss for this special Christmas episode of the Neon Group podcast. You know, all right.
How do you guys like that drop?
Yeah. I hope you guys enjoy it. Replay it as many times as you want. That's royalty free. We're not going to copyright it. That's our gift to you guys, our Christmas gift. Home Alone, 1990 Christmas comedy film. Directed by Chris Columbus, written by John Hughes, and also produced by John Hughes. It's a bit of a story in how that came to be in terms of the production, but we can talk about that down the road. Home Alone is about this little boy named Kevin. He's an 8-year-old who is a part of this really big family who's about to go off on this vacation to Paris for Christmas. And so as they're getting ready, Kevin is getting more and more flustered that he's not getting his way with certain things. He feels like he's always passed over. Nobody, thinks about him as much as he'd like them to. Feels like he's always passed over for things. Other people get more attention than him. And so he kind of has it after he finds out that his older brother, Butch, eats his cheese pizza. And so he pushes him, causes this like Rube Goldberg effect that has a negative impact on most of the family in that moment. And his mother, played by Catherine O'Hara, sends him up into the attic. They have a conversation where Kevin says, I wish you guys weren't here. I wish I didn't have a family. I don't want any family. Families stink. And so he goes to bed. The family finds out that they've accidentally slept in. And so they rush around trying to get everything together. They go to the airport, they get on the plane, but they realize much later that Kevin is home alone.
Oh!
Title drop. And so Kevin wakes up, he realizes his family's gone, he thinks that his wish has come true, and so he has the whole house to himself to cause pandemonium, do whatever he wants, new sense of freedom and decision making. Meanwhile, these two burglars, Harry and Marv. Harry, played by Joe Pesci, Marv, played by Daniel Stern, concocted this plan to rob the McAllister house because they're on vacation. And Joe Pesci was disguised as a cop doing some staking out towards the beginning of the movie so that he could find out which families aren't going to be home for Christmas so that they can go in and snatch them up because they're the wet bandits.
That's the silver tuna they're after.
Mm-hmm. And so they start to try to infiltrate the McAllister house when they find that, there is someone home. And he's an 8-year-old boy.
Home alone.
Home alone. And the movie kind of just follows the hijinks that ensue. So spoiler alert for Home Alone. If you haven't seen this movie, what the hell is wrong with you? This is a pretty ubiquitous film. I feel like...
Do you even have a childhood?
Exactly. If you didn't watch this movie, you didn't have a childhood. Don't you love posts like that on Facebook or whatever?
Oh yeah, just getting the 10,000% dramatic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you didn't watch Ren and Stimpy, did you really have a childhood?
Did you really live?
Did you really breathe? Did you sleep in your bed? I don't think you did if you didn't watch Ren and Stimpy. I don't know where this is coming from.
I don't either. Reddit.
You know what? That is the correct answer. So I can speak on my experience with this movie a little bit. I've seen this movie countless times.
Yeah, I got to imagine he's your hero.
So many times.
Yeah.
Because when I was around this age, like 8 or 9 years old, this was one of the very few movies that my grandpa and I would walk down towards the video store.
Oh, yeah, the heralded video store.
Yeah, because it was within walking distance of my grandpa's house, and I spent a lot of time at his place being watched by him while my parents were working during the summer. So this is weirdly like a big kind of summer watch for me because it had, it was during the time I had the most freedom.
Mm-hmm.
And so I could go with him to the video store and pick out whatever movie I wanted to watch. 9 times out of 10, I would pick this movie.
Interesting.
Because I loved it so much.
Yeah.
It had everything I wanted to watch as a kid. It had a child protagonist. It had him fighting against the bad guys. It had like this sort of kind of the same thing we were talking about with Die Hard, this like kind of hero fantasy of like, yeah, I'm protecting my house from the bad guys. And those bad guys are the burglars. Because I don't know about you, but when I was a kid, I oftentimes had the fantasy of like, if a burglar came into my house, I would beat him up.
Yeah.
I knew I could take him on, right? I would be the hero and my parents would love me even more than they already do.
Yep.
And it's so funny how like that is such a driving force for, I think, a lot of the appeal of this movie and like why it, would resonate with a lot of kids like me, right? Because this is a very nostalgic film.
Yeah.
It's one of those movies where like, if you grew up watching it, you grew up watching it a lot, and it became so ubiquitous.
Wow. I don't know about a lot, but yeah.
Well, I for me personally, it's just one of those things that, for me, was just a given. Like, yeah, Home Alone,
right?
Like, everyone's seen this movie, right? Like, this is a classic Christmas movie. It's just a classic movie altogether. Macaulay Culkin rocks the house, and the burglars get their comeuppance. Hoorah! And I don't know. It's interesting to watch this movie and kind of how it's aged and the different sort of levels of appreciation I have for it now compared to when I was, a little pea-brain child. And I don't know. I still have a lot of fun with this movie.
Mm-hmm.
I recognize that it's not like maybe the perfect film. I think it's inherently difficult for Christmas movies to reach a level of, a level of burping, to reach like a level of acclaim or just like quality in general.
Yeah.
Of like, can Christmas movies like surpass or like reach the level of like greatest films, I don't know.
Yeah, you're waxing here. So I think what the question would be is could this thing stand on its head without it having Christmas attached to it?
That was like sort of the biggest question I had going into it.
Yeah.
With,
and
like, revisiting this as an adult is like, does this just work as a movie, or is there a lot of kind of like nostalgia blinders that I'm going into this with?
Well,
right?
I don't want to say nostalgia. The appeal with this is because with Christmas being a backdrop and with the snow coming down and the holidays happening, right? Is that being thrust into it to help out with audience members attach themselves more to the film, or maybe there's a little bit more at stake now because of the gifts and because Christmas is so sentimental and family values are always attached to it, right? Whereas if you put that onto maybe just a day of the week, Christmas isn't attached. Let's say this is December 5th. Right? And they're just going to go to Paris, right? They don't have to have the gifts. You don't have to have Santa Claus around. It's just that day of the week. At the time, I would have said no, but having watched this recently, I think it could. I think this is a really well-made film, and I think the writing of this thing is. Now, I think Christmas elevates it. Don't get me wrong.
Oh yeah, this is. I mean, it's undeniably a Christmas movie that's like just caked in the atmosphere of it.
Yeah.
Like this movie is kind of the embodiment of like just Christmas as a holiday.
There's
and an idea.
There's more, but some of the the stakes just seem a little bit higher with it. But outside of that, no, because I'm thinking like the big thing with me was Catherine O'Hara, Kevin's mom, getting in the fan with the polka guys. Like, I got to get back. And because it's Christmas and you don't want them to wake up alone, it feels like there's that much more at stake, right? But if you were to go on December 5th and she was just getting home because I don't want to see my kid dead, you know, because he forgot to get out of the bathtub or whatever, right? Like, it still plays, you know, but no, this is a really well-made film. I've sometimes equated this to like a Christmas Story. Growing up without having streaming, they only play certain films. So being a young lad, there was a natural gravitation towards this film because one, yeah, you're home alone. You get to do whatever you want. Imagine the freedom, right? Of being running around, watching TV whenever you wanted, eating marshmallows and hot cocoa.
Ultimate kid fantasy shit. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then you got your older brother. Like, I remember seeing Buzz's like fucking treasure chest and just seeing like a BB gun. Like, what would I do? You know? And just like kind of a little bit of that where there's some other toys around that you get to play with that you're not necessarily privy to because it's age restricted. But like A Christmas Story, this thing was always on TV, or we're always renting it or watching it, you know. So it definitely flamed out for me by the time I was like a teen, where I got to the point where I'm like, I know everything that's about to happen. I've seen this so many goddamn times. Tired of it, you know. And every Christmas that comes around now, where it's like we got to throw it on. It's like, all right, we got to throw it on. Mm-hmm. And this is like I sat down this time and I was like, I'm gonna. Unbiasedly watch this thing, kind of like objectively watch it, right? Like, I'm not going to put myself into, I've seen this thing a million times. I know what's about to hit. Like, I just want to look at it from a screenwriting standpoint, from a little bit of the character development, from the acting. Now that you know a little bit more about where Pesci's career took off to, and knowing more about him, Daniel Stern. Yeah, this is a good film. This is a really good film.
Yeah. Spoiler alert, this is still a fun movie to watch.
Yeah.
That's like just a good time.
Yeah, and it's not even like, I think about Preston now of being like Kevin.
Right.
Right. And I was getting a kick out of that, where I was like, I don't think he's doing half this shit, you know? Mm-hmm. But when you look at it just in terms of family and what's going on, yeah, this thing's well written. And, you know, first and foremost, they got a hell of a performance out of Macaulay Culkin.
Yeah,
absolutely. I think a lot of these child movies where the kid's the star, it really hinges. I mean, most films hinge on the actor being good, right? But like, it's so risky with a young actor.
Yeah, a young actor that is such the focus.
Yes, he's the lead.
Yeah, I mean, you watch it. So this is like not even like in the same ballpark as this movie, but I remember as a kid I watched this movie a lot called Snow Day. Have you ever seen it? With it's got Josh Peck in it, but he's not like the main character. That movie is weird because the main crux of it is like the kids fighting against like the snowplow driver or whatever.
Yeah.
But there's also such a heavy focus on like the older brother character who's like trying to get with this girl like half the time.
Good for him.
And it's such an uneven movie because of how much less focus there is on like the kids doing like these hijinks or whatever to get back at this. Yeah, just being kids. Whereas this one, the performance is so important to get right because you are just with Kevin for, I would say, like 70% of the movie at the very least. Because you switch back between him and like either the burglars or Catherine O'Hara. Yeah,
he's the lead, and you are a majority of the film with him. But yes,
and like a lot of this movie is just like not just him delivering dialogue or like performing these scenes emotionally, but like just also living in the situation. Like,
oh, dude,
watching him be a kid convincingly, because it could so easily go awry of like, if a kid is too in his head about acting like a kid on screen, then it comes across very robotic and stilted and weird.
Yep.
Whereas like this movie, it really effectively gets across like, yeah, I'm just watching a kid have the level of freedom that he never had before.
And not only that, it's got to be believable, right? And I think the one thing that Macaulay Culkin does in this thing that I liked, and I feel weird talking about like an 8-year-old kid, but the believability of him being able to survive and be in that environment on his own for that X amount of days. And it's a fine line of I am going to be a kid, but I'm also going to inherit some of this responsibility of myself in the home. And that in and of itself is a little challenging because as an audience member, you're watching it, you have to feel like he's able to take care of himself, right? And if it's too childlike, you're just think of being a dad, I'm like, bullshit, But then the other aspect is if he's doing something where, hey, I'm going to go buy groceries or I'm going to do the laundry, right? It's got to have the sense that it feels authentic.
Yeah.
And I think he handles that so well throughout this thing. And they don't ask too much out of him. I know he's the focus of the film, but like watching it again, I've always envisioned that he had so many more lines than what he does. Like they are very careful with what they have to do, right? And they do a great job of interjecting, the fake movie that they had to create that he uses as like a device for like 2 or 3 different interactions. And it's such a great tool to be like, all right, we're going to take the pressure off of him having to act and we'll put it on someone else. But we're also going to make it believable in the sense that he knows how to do this and we're going to use it, right? That it makes the scene still feel authentic and genuine that this could actually be plausible, right? Yeah. To some extent, too, because also you suspend your disbelief, right?
Yeah.
And they keep it grounded enough.
They do. I mean, there's a lot of cartoonish elements in this movie, but I think the main kind of I've been saying crux a lot in this episode, but really, like, for me, the most effective hook of this thing is the idea that this movie starts off and it kind of frames it in a way where Kevin is being treated as the baby.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's the youngest kid.
Close to it, yeah.
The youngest kid. Yeah. The youngest kid in his, like, immediate family.
Yeah.
And he's being treated as the baby. He's kind of looked down upon because of that.
Laissez competent.
Yeah, especially from his siblings. But it also comes to a head where, like, yeah, the reason this is unfolding is because, like, you're immature. You can't take care of yourself. Like, we have this image of you that is just, like, completely helpless.
Yeah, you need to be the center of attention. You're completely, like, narcissistic, right? Everything drives around you, yet you're unable to do things on your own.
Right. And so the idea that them leaving him behind and Catherine O'Hara being so worried about him because she has this view of him as this kind of, this baby.
Yeah, it's a fawn.
This, like,
right?
helpless thing that, like, can't take care of itself. I think a lot of that struggle, too, with that perspective is, like, her struggling with the idea of, like, is this my fault? Did I have a huge part in, like, making him this way? And now it's my fault that I've left him home, and the way he is, because of how I raised him, he's going to be in danger.
Yes.
Like, he's going to get himself hurt, or, like, something bad's going to happen. And to this movie's effectiveness, it shows that, no, Kevin is able to take care of himself in a way that's, like, mostly believable. Like you said, there's some stuff that, like, suspension of disbelief, maybe it's, like, a little too far for reality's sake. But for the purposes of the movie, it, like, really works, I think, in setting that kind of double layer of what's going on. So, like, not only is Kevin's character developing by doing all this stuff on his own and, like, growing and becoming more independent, but also you get Catherine O'Hara's perspective changing of, like, how she views her son. Yeah. It's like, oh, you did all this stuff. You, like, took care of yourself. You did things around the house. It's like there's, like, a little bit more familiar respect that way when it comes to the end of the movie. And, like, I really think that that's a very simple and effective way of, like, drawing people into this movie.
Yeah.
For all intents and purposes, like, we were talking about how Die Hard has, like, all these things kind of going into it. There's, like, so many different ways you could, like, read the movie, all these different perspectives. What I like about Home Alone, I think, the most is just how so uncomplicated it is.
Some effect.
I mean,
Rube Goldberg's in the, what do you hit, right? With all the fucking entrapments.
I mean, I don't know. I think the simplicity of this movie is to me one of the best things about it.
Oh no, without a doubt. It's really, I like what you're kind of talking about with the layering effect. Is that at the end of the day, it is about family, and it's a little bit about that growth of the family coming back. One, Kevin understanding what it means to take responsibility, accountability, learning some of those bigger principles in life, being on his own with the independence. To his family coming in and recognizing what he has done, what he was able to accomplish on his own, and gathering more respect for him. The second one being, like, if you look at it simply from the villain or the antagonist perspective, it's him surviving against these two burglars, right? So a little bit of it could be lost once he gets past those guys, right? And they come in with the family and the recognition of what he was able to accomplish by himself. But that's, to the film's credit, being able to keep it at a pretty much point A to point B level, yeah, and it makes it that much more endearing, right? Like, you're able to, a lot of people you could be 16 and your mom could treat you like that, right? And see this thing and have respect for that kid. And it doesn't have to be an 8-year-old, right? It's literally just a son or a daughter, if you're a girl watching this, with his parents. And that's why I think that this thing kind of spans time a little bit, because at any point you can throw this on and gather some appreciation for the situation, right? Because you could, if you're at that age group, it's that desire of independence, right? And being able to, like, I want to have some accountability and have some tasks and responsibilities. But also, if you're 16, you recognize and you look back and like, man, when was that my first moment of independence, or when I gained trust with my parents, right? Or even into your 20s. And then when you have kids, you're looking at it and you can watch it from the perspective of, how are my kids going to interpret this? How are they going to take it? And that's why I think this thing, it's a I want to say snake eating its tail, but I don't know at any one point where it gets too old. Maybe once you get to your 40s or 50s and you've seen it, and it's like, I don't know if my kids past that, but then your grandkids pop up, and you're like, well, I wonder how he would handle it,
Yeah, I mean, even if you're like just kind of looking past sort of what this movie's presenting to you on like a thematic level, there's still a lot about this that's just like really charming and fun and just like lighthearted without like kind of losing like a little bit of that edge that it has, especially with Harry and Marv as the burglars, wet bandits. The wet bandits.
I mean, the created movie that they have in this thing, and it does have a title. I can't remember what it is.
Oh, I can look it up.
But
because I saw it earlier.
Yeah, it's funny. Like, that had to be its own production, right? And they had to film it and they had to do its own thing with it. But like, that there's a little bit of edginess there, right? Like, we got a Tommy gun going off. We got a guy.
Angels with filthy souls.
Yes. There's a couple Angels references in this movie. I was picking up on that. Maybe
that
it's
effect.
Just, yeah.
Leave it on the doorstep and get the hell out.
10%. That's not my cut. What are you trying to jib me?
He's upstairs taking a bath.
Yeah.
He'll call you when he gets out. I'll tell you what I'm going to do, snakes. I'm going to give you to the count of 10 to get you ugly, yellow, no good keister off my property before I pump your guts full of lead. 1, 2, 10. Sorry, I had to show off my impersonation
not bad.
of Johnny. Thank you. I appreciate that.
But I was going to say, that's some of the edginess that they're able to pull, and it's almost like they're doing it in such a it's a visual aid, right? It's not necessarily attached to the characters themselves that we're watching, so it doesn't make the film feel any more dangerous.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, there's just like an inherent kind of like lightness and goodness that this movie just maintains throughout, while still like edging towards a little bit more like, things to think about, or like, rising elements of danger when it comes to the wet bandits themselves. Because like, for most of the movie, they're pretty like goofy and bumbling, but then, you get towards the end of it, it's like, oh, like they're gonna bite Macaulay Culkin's fingers off.
Dude, they were ready. You could definitely like.
They were so over it to the point where it's like, yeah, we're just gonna like chop this kid up.
It's so silly up to that degree, right? Where if you're watching this just in the sense of it being a movie, everything that they go through. But if you really think about I was laughing watching this thing the other night. I think like if I was in their shoes.
Well, it gets to the point where like Joe Pesci says the line, "I'm gonna rip off your cojones and boil it in motor oil."
Yeah,
there's some shit like that. It's like, whoa. Well, I don't think I caught that when I was a kid.
How pissed would you be though? Like, how mad would you be? How frustrated would you be? Because they're
getting scammed by a kindergartner. I'd be pretty pissed.
Not only that, dude, I'm not even talking about. I'm talking about going up those steps and slipping on ice. Yeah. Like, I'm not talking about like
falling on your back 4 times in a row.
Take out the kid. Imagine you're going to a fun house and you're going through their scenario, right? The time you get that's over with and you hit like the amount of anger and frustration that would come out. Yeah, we're gonna fucking eat his fingers off. Like, I don't blame him.
So since we're on the topic of the wet bandits, the burglars themselves, I want to spotlight them for a bit. Love their performances.
Oh, yeah.
Joe Pesci, Daniel Stern, great chemistry. Joe Pesci especially, I think, really stands out as far as like performances in this movie because it feels like he is taking it so seriously while it's still just like, goofy kids movie. And one of my favorite things that I really kind of noticed this time, they have kind of an interesting dynamic as far as like the mythology of burglarization goes.
Okay.
Because the way they talk about it, it almost feels like they don't have a house. They just kind of live out of this like shitty van in which they like steal stuff from, or like they use to like transport their stolen goods. Yeah. Doesn't feel like they have real jobs. Doesn't feel like they have families at all. They just like live in this space.
Well, they're burglars.
This like isolated space. I know, but it's like it's such a distilled cartoon version of it.
Oh yeah.
That like you could watch this as an animated feature and it'd just be like them living out of this van with like
they'd be doing the same thing.
The sack over their shoulders and like the crowbars in their hands. They clank the crowbars as if they're like toasting cocktails.
Yeah.
And it's so fucking funny to me that this movie has like kind of a sense of groundedness to it, but also at the same time, it's like, yeah, these guys just like live and breathe being burglars. It's like their weird passion. There's like,
well, that is their source of income. It's not like it's like, hey, this is a hobby.
I know, but the way they talk about it, it's like there's almost like this weird lore to it. Like when Harry says something like, all the greats have their mark.
Oh.
All the greats leave their mark. We're the wet bandits. And it's like, you get the sense that like, these guys have like read the history of burglary and are just so enamored by it like it's a religion.
I took it more so in the sense that it is like anything that anyone does ever. If you're aspiring and it's something that you really care about, like for them it's burglary. There's a sense that you want to be the one of one, right? So every time that they were doing something or talking about it, like, and they're like, we're watching them. They're like these crummy ass guys that can't get past an 8-year-old, right? But in their heads, they're like, how do we?
They take it so seriously.
Yeah, we want people to recognize us that when they're reading the history books of burglary and they talk about the timeline, the wet bandits will be a bullet point somewhere.
Yeah,
right.
Like they want to have like a sense of history and like leaving their mark on the world.
Yeah, I got that more so from Harry than I did it's Joe Pesci's character.
Oh, Joe Pesci is Harry.
He's Harry.
Yeah.
What
Marv is Daniel Stern.
Yeah. So Marv always felt like he was the one that was living more in that world, and Harry was more so of the one of like, dude, this is how we make fucking money.
Yeah, there's like a little bit more of like a desperation, like kind of less whimsy to it.
Yeah, where he's more of the brains of the operation, right? Marv's the one that lives a little bit more in fantasy land.
But I like the scene too where Daniel Stern gets tricked by the TV, by the fake movie, thinking that someone beat them to the jump and like a person got blown away. Mm-hmm. He's like, I heard the name Snakes before, and Joe Pesci kind of thinks he's like, snakes. Nah, I don't know no snakes.
Yeah,
like he kind of indulges him a little bit and thinks like, what is my catalog of like other burglars' nicknames that I might be familiar with?
Yeah,
because they're so embedded in that world of
the underground. Yeah,
that it's like, I don't know. I just like the very small implication that there's like more to what they want to do than what we see on the screen, right? Like the intentionality, the kind of like history of it, like why they're burglars.
Yeah, it presents itself a little bit more about this is we're taking steps, right? We have a progression, and they're at this progression now where they are networking. They're gonna hit the ultimate score.
Yeah,
they're gonna hit this house. They've done such a great job. Like they bought the cop suit, and all of a sudden he's like, oh boy, first time we're gonna fake this one, and like let's see how it goes.
Yeah, it's truly like dress for the job that you want, not for the job that you have. Because like the fact that Harry takes the time to like go to all these houses and he knows on the second when the houses are gonna light up.
Yeah,
based on the timers.
Yeah.
You would not put that amount of work into something if you didn't have a passion for it, right?
Well, no, they do. That's what I'm saying. They do. Like,
yeah.
They're This is a screenwriter aspiring. Someone that's wrote some screenplays aspiring to become the Aaron Sorkin, right? Like that's what I'm saying. Like they are. If you did a level, they are level 2 on burglars.
Yeah.
But it is what they are. It's not what they are aspiring. They are aspiring to it. This is their source of income. This is their livelihood. So, I'm trying to think of, Catch Me If You Can.
Yeah.
Right? Like Leo in that.
Frank Abagnale?
Frank Abagnale, right? It's he becomes so good at that profession that at the end of it, I'm not giving anything away, but that's what I'm saying is that there are people that become con artists or burglars or living this nefarious lifestyle that they know how to do it and do it well. That's their livelihood.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it is kind of the little expositions that we get here and there that build up their world around them is kind of humorous now that you're talking about it.
It's just something I really noticed this time around.
Yeah.
Just like thinking about it.
Well,
how into it they both are.
The snakes thing. I always knew Marv was into it because like I will never forget him talking about the wet bandits and leaving the mark, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that, and it was such like that's our signature. Like we're signing autographs. Like you leave your name. Like this is our signature when we're stealing from homes. The wet bandits. They're gonna know us all around.
Mm-hmm.
And but this one Harry going like snakes. I don't know no snakes. Like he's got to go through his freaking Rolodex.
Yeah.
To figure out like, have I heard that name before? Where would we come across him at?
Yeah. I don't know. It's just it's very charming to me. It's very fun. There's a lot about this movie that it's just like inherently a good time.
Yeah, and it's high stakes, low stakes.
Yeah.
Right. Like,
because everything's going to be all right.
Yeah.
But just watching the process of it is still fun.
Yes.
And it is kind of surprising how long it does take to get to what a lot of people would consider the juice of this movie. Like the actual like kind of booby traps and the break-in itself.
15, 20 minutes maybe.
Yeah.
Right.
It's surprisingly shorter than people would remember.
This a lot of my memory stems from just the ending. Like the in-between dialogue and kind of how everything unfolds and gets set up. It shocked me this time how many times they reference angels with filthy wings or whatever it is.
Angels with dirty faces, I think it's
whatever it was called.
Something like
that. They did it 2 or 3 times. I've always just remembered
angels with dirty souls.
Yeah. I've only recognized. I only thought they played it once. I didn't realize it was played like I think 3 times.
Yeah.
Right. There's a lot of instances with Kevin kind of operating around the home. Never paid attention. It's always been built up to the carnival fest at the very end there, where you're going through the booby traps, right? And it's always felt like that thing was a half hour, 45, half the film. And then what is it? It's 15, 20 minutes. I mean, it is boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
Whereas the treehouse.
Those lead-up scenes are serving the dual purpose of showing the independence that Kevin is gaining, but also foreshadowing the different instances in which, like, this part of the house is going to be, like, where this trap is. Kevin's going to use this thing against the burglars. Like, I don't know. It's very well constructed in its simplicity.
Yeah, and it's like Die Hard too, where everything almost seems like it has a purpose, right? Where it's kind of setting up.
There's a lot of similarities this movie has to Die Hard.
Yeah, I mean, when you talk about setting like the tone too, for movies that were to follow or precede it. But that's what I guess I was talking about. Like when I watching this thing again, kind of sitting back and be like, all right, I'm not going to hold any grudges or think about any past experiences. The writing in this thing is so snappy. It's very simple. It's got a very good structure with the family ties to it, and that, you know, gaining independence and also recognizing what your kid's able to do. But the scenes that are being set up for later on are really well done. And that's why I was saying where they kind of protected Macaulay Culkin on this, is that a lot of what he's doing too is it's not physically demanding, but it's more physical acting.
It's a lot more interactive than a lot of kids movies around that time would have been.
Right. And that's where I give it props. And that's where I was like, you said John Hughes wrote it, right?
Yep.
And I'm like, as soon as you said his name, I was like, wow. That I never knew that, and that makes a whole lot of sense on why this thing pops.
So I'm glad you brought that up, because that's what I was going to bring up. So John Hughes had the idea to write this movie, I guess, because he was planning a vacation, and he was thinking, what are some of the things that I don't want to forget when I bring them? And he kind of jokingly thought to himself, well, I shouldn't forget my 10-year-old son.
Oh.
And he had the idea and thought to himself, like, what would he do if I were to leave him home alone?
Writers are unreal, man. Just to get deconstructive.
Yeah.
Let's start here. If I leave him here, what would he do next? What would he do next? Yeah, sorry.
That's really kind of what it boiled down to. And I don't know. I don't remember why. I don't think it said when I was reading about it, but he wasn't going to direct it himself. He never had that intention.
Yeah.
And so he went to Christopher Columbus, because Christopher Columbus was originally directing Christmas Vacation, and he ended up dropping out of that movie because Chevy Chase was such a pain in the ass.
Yeah, it's funny.
And that could be a whole other podcast episode about how much of a fucker Chevy Chase is.
Yeah.
But he dropped out of that movie, and kind of as a favor, John Hughes went to him and was like, hey, I have a script for this Christmas thing that you can direct.
You guys got to get the holiday special out. This is it.
Yeah. And so kind of as a favor, Christopher Columbus ended up directing this movie, which, I think pretty great combination as far as John Hughes writing the thing, getting the character work down, having that narrative shaped up, and then Christopher Columbus just coming in, presenting this kind of very picturesque kind of Christmas atmosphere.
Yeah.
Having this great build up. John Williams with the score.
Yeah, that's what blew my mind.
Fucking iconic, sticks in your head.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's oh yeah, no, this thing pretty much came together in a way that's every kind of piece is firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, and it'd be like Aaron Sorkin writing like a
David Fincher directed movie, Social Network. Pretty much, right?
No, but let's not do Social Network, and let's get an 8-year-old kid in there and make it very majestical.
Right.
I don't think people really recognize that this was this is not a blockbuster film, right? Because it came out in the wintertime, but this is nationally released. You have an 8-year-old kid that's acting, one, the lead. 2, you have Joe Pesci, who's been in all of Martin Scorsese. I think at the time, he was doing a lot of mafioso movies. He was kind of playing a hard ass in a lot of his stuff. Raging Bull was out there, so he's going against type in this thing, right? You got Daniel Stern, which I don't know what he was coming off of, who's going to be kind of more of your physical comedic actor in this thing.
I read that Joe Pesci had a hard time getting along with people because he was getting frustrated about some of the lines he had, and he was like, well, these lines obviously aren't to the caliber of what I've worked with before. And it's brother, you were on R-rated mob movies.
Right.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah. But so in this thing, you have to applaud everyone that's associated with it for them to be this will be a success, because up until that point, I don't know how many preteens have led a film, right, without having a supporting role next to their sign that's older. Goonies kind of comes to mind, but there was more of a Rat Pack crew of the kids, and
did I tell you I watched Goonies recently for the first time?
Yeah, that's great.
It's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember being young and like seeing it, and it was, I think it was kind of around holiday times where it would come on, because it's like, hey, it's kind of pairs up well with Home Alone. And I've seen it like a couple times when I was real little, and everyone would talk about how fucking sick it was, like, yeah, this is awesome. And I'm like, I don't get it. I just don't get it.
It's a movie in which I watched it, and I feel like it very much benefits from someone watching it when they're that age. Yeah. So that they can just relate to the character's baseline.
Yeah.
Because I watched it like, I don't know, 4 months ago, something like that.
Yeah.
And it just felt like the entire time watching it, I was like, where are these kids' parents? Where's their babysitter?
Yeah.
Like, someone needs to wrangle these little fuckers and get them to sit down.
That's what I'm saying.
Because they're just running around screaming the whole fucking time.
I don't get it. Yeah. Like, I remember being like a kid. It was like, oh, man, it's a cool adventure movie, kind of. Like, but
Kinda.
Home Alone 10 times out of 10. Like, give me the house to myself. I don't need to go find some fucking boat out in the middle of an underground.
Like, this is a lot of sweaty work that these kids are doing. It's like, well, just stay fucking home.
Yeah. Have the parents get out there. Find your independence that way.
Yeah.
Break into your brother's fucking toy chest.
Exactly. You want something to explore? Go explore the basement.
Yeah.
Kevin overcomes his fear that way.
Man, that furnace, it scared me as a kid.
It's pretty effective that way.
Yeah.
I think this is the first time I caught that the furnace actually says his name. I think, yeah.
Oh, you did? Yeah, no, that's why I always saw a face in the thing. So, like, when it...
Yeah, I did too, yeah.
Yeah, so but it said, I also knew it get Kevin, or however it goes.
Yeah, it's kind of indiscernible. So when I was a kid, I thought it was just, like, laughing at him the whole time.
Oh, yeah.
But this time I was like, oh, it actually says his name.
Yeah, there's obviously a fantasy projection there.
Yeah.
But point being with this is, it'd be like this movie comes out now. I don't know. I mean, who's going into theaters to watch it? Like, seriously, think about it. Your age right now.
Yeah.
There's an 8-year-old kid that's going to be on with Robert Pattinson, who's going to play a kind of silly burglar, and he's got to stay home.
I would unironically love to see that movie.
Okay, well, take out fucking Pattinson. God damn it. Oh, what's our boy? Who's the guy that got roasted by Tarantino?
Paul Dano?
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yes.
There's a certain light where this is such a silly premise that it got released in theaters and we have all these big names attached. Well, that it had so many avenues to go down to fail.
And I think part of what I was saying about, like, I appreciate the simplicity of this movie and how it's constructed, you wouldn't get that now. No. I feel like movies have to have, like, way more of a thing in order for them to want to, like, draw audiences in and, like, people go out to the theater to, like, see a movie. Because, like, I feel like movies feel like they have to be complicated in some way, right? In order to draw people in. Whether or not it's, like, complicated because of the narrative, complicated because of, like, the premise, complicated because of, like,
the characters,
like, we have to have, like, some sort of conflicting feeling of this somehow. And this movie is so unconcerned with, like, the confliction of it.
Yeah.
It's just like, you're kind of meeting it at, like, the face value of the thing.
Yeah.
And there's, like, an authenticity there to it that, like, I feel like you don't get that with movies a lot nowadays that just come out now.
That Eddington. This reminds me of, like, Eddington was, I feel like, simple. You don't come across that anymore. This Marvel's fucked us with, like, here's what the problem that I have too is that when there are big movies that do well, right? Everyone goes, they got that goddamn money. How do we get ours, right? Well, we can't make Marvel, right? But what could we do? We can definitely make them protect the goddamn universe, or, like, they're gonna protect the city block. Like, no, just make the characters. And even in this one, like, the characters, like, little bit of backstory here and there. It's not like there's, like, these huge fucking arcs, right? Like, I mean, Kevin, yeah, sure, he's an 8-year-old kid. He learns a little bit about independence and responsibility. Parents come back and they respect him a little bit more.
Yeah,
but it's not like, hey, like, we've rekindled this relationship, or we're saving these people, right? It's literally just, I'm going to be at home, protect it. We're going to have some goofs in here. And guess what? It's going to be really wholesome, because at the end of the day, we're going to like, we love our family and we appreciate them and we need to respect them a little bit more, right? Like,
yeah. It feels like oftentimes movies feel like they need to grapple with something.
God, yes.
Like whether or not it's like actual stakes for the characters, like their lives or like their families or whatever.
Yeah.
But also in terms of like just inner conflict, emotional turmoil. We have like this weird kind of sense of like obligation towards like showing the many different facets of like what a character's going through so obviously. Mm-hmm. It's like, because I feel like a lot of movies now are just so afraid of letting the audience read into it more if they want to do that.
Well,
right?
And when they do that, it's like this huge goddamn metaphor or analogy where it's like it's depicting like it's
right. Movies have to mean
something.
that it's like for something. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's at the end of the day, why can't it just be, you don't have to spoon feed us what's going on, but it also doesn't have to be a representation of where society is at right now, right? Mm-hmm. Like, yes, I agree with you 100%.
So I feel like that's a big reason why you wouldn't be able to get away with releasing this movie now and having it be a success, because people would go in expecting more of like a complicated thing going into it. It'd
be interesting. Yeah. I would definitely, because we're sitting here bitching about this and it's like that's why it wouldn't work, but we're like, we love it for the 90s because it did work, and it's like I wonder if there'd be that much more appreciation with this going on. Like if this just you plucked it out of this timeline, threw it on right now. Mm-hmm. Maybe people don't show up, maybe they're waiting for it, but I wonder if it still has that same genuine reaction now that it did 35 years ago. It's a very interesting kind of premise, because I'm with you. The expectations of what movies are supposed to provide us now, I don't like it, but that's where we sit at with these major producers, is they're handing us exactly what we don't want. Right.
And I'm not asking for like every single movie to be like this simple and straightforward, right? I like the variety of it.
Yeah, well,
I like having my choices. It's just that it feels like movies can be a little suffocated because of how much they feel like they have to bring to the table, Well,
the other thing too that sucks about this thing, so we've talked about Macaulay Culkin, Joe Pesci, Daniel Stern, Catherine O'Hara, right? The family. There is a lot of dialogue that goes back and forth. Nothing that's too deep. Nothing that's too. We set up a little bit of the backstories here and there, but this, because it's somewhat of a comedy or a silly movie, I feel like if it were to come out nowadays, what we talked about, that 15 minutes feeling like 40 minutes, really cements how good this thing is, right? If you can take something and make it feel like it lasts that much longer when it really doesn't, it lets me know that this had a very big impact on your memory of the film. Nowadays, that 15 minutes is expanded out to 30 minutes. Like, we're going to have the scene where Daniel Stern runs around, he kind of falls down a little bit. Like that now all of a sudden is going to turn into let's get the heck out of here. And then it tails off the car, and then they like barrel roll it, and they get out and the car explodes and they're running around. It's almost like we have to accentuate everything to the 10th degree, because if this is a silly movie, we're going to make sure everyone knows it's fucking silly. Whereas with this thing, like we talk about, it's very wholesome. It's genuine. It's authentic, because like a lot of the situations that happen in this thing isn't thrust into our lap and we have to feel a certain way, right? Like you can take it at face value with what's going on, and maybe it's a little slow at points, But it's like, fuck, man, at the end of the day, like, let's remember it for its good parts. We don't have to have something to just get fucking put out there in our face and be like, it's silly. We're going to let you know it's silly, And that's, I think, maybe why it also wouldn't hold up too. Maybe people would go in there and be like, too much of a carnival ride for me,
Yeah, I mean, we talk about, like, there's a lot of silliness in this movie, obviously. Like, it's a comedy first and foremost, but there are a lot of moments that are pretty sincerity forward.
Of course, like going to the church.
Going to the church.
Talked about the old man.
Yeah, or like Catherine O'Hara, like wrestling with the idea of like, was I a good mother? Like
with John Candy.
Yeah.
Hey, he's been on the road for he doesn't even know if he's got his kids. Yes.
The church scene is probably, I mean, as a kid, it was probably my least favorite scene, because when I'm watching it, I'm thinking like, oh, get to the good parts where like the bad guys get all beat up.
Who cares about the old man? Come on, get past him. Can't talk to his kid. Who the fuck cares?
Fast forward.
Yeah.
Whereas now, I have such an appreciation for that scene, and I am impressed with how much that scene just sits in the moment of it. Like how long it takes, because it like takes its time. Like the pacing's a little slower, but like I appreciate that about it. Like it takes a minute for like the buildup of the old man to like come and sit with him.
He's a creepy old guy. So, you know, when you're watching, you're like, I don't know what that guy's going to do. And Kevin's by himself.
And like the kind of like slow but disarming process of like that conversation and how it unfolds.
Oh, yeah.
Of like just the casual nature of like, Kevin going like, oh, this guy's not bad.
Yeah.
And like them kind of opening up to each other about their own problems.
Yes.
Like, it's so simple. It's so like well shot, but like not too complicated. I love the chorus going on while they're having the conversation. I don't know. It's like my type of shit. Like that's the type of stuff that I like watching in movies now. Where it's
down
like,
inside.
Well, it's like this pretty uncomplicated yet effective, just like characters having a dialogue that's so meaningful.
It's very innocent.
Yes.
And it's very genuine. It is a conversation that if I was his age, like I could envision having with an older, you know, with a guy that would be like, hey, you're my grandpa's age, right? Like nothing in there screams it's force fed. And everything seems, like I said, innocent to the point that it's very believable, right? I mean, and you're taking, there's moments in this thing where it gets grounded, right? Where you kind of, they're like, that's why I really like the screenwriting for this thing, because John Hughes is like, hey, this is going to be really slapsticky. There's going to be some shit that happens, but also we're going to kind of bring you back into the world and remind you, hey, it's Christmas time. And these guys, like Kevin's going through his own kind of problems. Maybe he's not showing it. You know, he's got some some turmoil going on inside. You know, did I really want my parents to go? You know, and it's a question. He's been living it up to this point, but now all of a sudden it's almost like a hedonistic lifestyle, right? Is it really one worth living? And he gets to talk to this old guy who's just filled with regret with what's going on, and they both kind of balance each other in that regard. It's awesome. I mean, it's very, and that guy, like, I'm like, I don't know if that guy's a character actor or whatnot, but that fucking old guy, what a hire.
There's only one other movie that I recognized him from, and it was a movie we talked about on this podcast.
Come on.
Can you guess what it is?
No, I just told you. I thought they hired him off the streets.
He plays the grandpa in Vision Quest. When Matthew Modine goes and like sees him with his girlfriend.
Yeah. Where he's still trying to score with her in the truck. Yeah.
Old Man Marley.
You know, I don't talk to my son much more, and you know, I think it's something I can't even do it. He's got like that. He's got
a very unique cadence. Yeah,
grandpa voice.
Very grandpa voice.
Yeah,
feels like someone you just meet at the grocery store.
I thought the only thing weird out of that whole thing was like when he goes like, "You may have heard some things about me, but those aren't true." And then like they just both go, "Yeah, you're probably right."
Yeah,
like I've never just seen someone walk in with that gusto to be like, "Everything you heard about me is a lie. I'm a good guy," and be like, "You know what? I believe you."
Where the fuck is Old Man Marley on this list? I am having a hard time finding him now.
Yeah, he's all right. I don't know if it's going to be that pertinent to everyone knowing, and if they really want to know, they can just go to IMDb and look it up, or Wikipedia.
Yeah, very true.
Or you just type in Old Man Marley into Google.
Did you have a favorite stunt or gag? Or like okay, here's a good question.
Yes.
Who gets it the worst in this movie?
Oh, Marv.
I agree.
Yeah. Marv without a doubt.
There's a lot of like foot business that
watch out, Tarantino.
He is basically that he is dealing with, and there's like a lot of nerves in your feet too. Like it's just so fucking painful to think about. He like goes through it. The tar, and then he steps on the nail. He's going through the snow barefoot, and then he just steps on all the fucking glass ornaments.
It's funny because continuity. I was like, do they keep his shoes off the whole time? You know, it's not something that you can see or pay attention to because they're not like filming their shoes running or But
yeah, you don't see like whole body shots of them the entire time.
When they get clipped on the treehouse and they fall down, I'm just like, it's got to be 25 degrees out there. He's got no shoes on running through the snow. Like, I don't know how long you can last, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I say Marv too, because I feel like Pesci in this thing, like there's some. So he gets what? The burned hand.
He gets the burn hand. He gets the top of his head just singed.
So that is probably the funniest scene to me in this thing, but just his face,
and he's there for a long time.
Yes, like, and it's Pesci with the like, whoa! That's the funniest one to me. But I think Marv got it the worst. I mean, falling down those stairs.
Yeah.
Right.
I think
iron to the face.
Iron to the face. I think I was always partial to the paint cans.
Yes.
Because it's Kevin actively like throwing something at them.
Yeah.
Just like boom. And then the joke of like the second one coming. When Harry says like, "Don't worry, Marv, I'll get him for you."
Yeah.
And boom.
Or how about the spider? Like that's like a couple of what Joe Pesci gets is probably more damaging to your body.
Yeah.
Than like what happened. Like Marv's everything's very like aesthetically damaging, you know, and I mean a little impactful, but like that's a 3rd-degree burn to your hand. Mm-hmm. 3rd-degree burn to your head. He took a crowbar to the chest. Right?
Yeah.
Marv, what are you doing?
And Marv swings as like hard as he fucking
like
can.
he's like, that thing's gonna be obliterated. Like when I hit it, it's gonna look like instantaneous combustion.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I always, everything that happened to Marv, I'm always I don't know, man. If you had to like, you're gonna Joe Rogan's Fear Factor, like what one you doing?
Yeah.
It'd be an interesting what one you taking. Like I almost feel like I do Pesci's just because it seems like a lot less time, but the lingering effects would probably be worse.
Well, I think in the second movie, not to like jump to a different film altogether, but I think in the second movie he has a scar on his palm that has the M on it.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. Like that's, I don't know how hot that thing is, but that's definitely, you're getting 2nd or 3rd degree burns.
And he like puts his hand on it for quite a while. Like he just grips the fucking thing.
That's what Have you seen the guy, the reel or the guy on YouTube that did the how much could your body withstand?
No, I don't think so. No,
I don't think it was MythBusters. I want to say that someone actually went through and applied the physics to what the damage that was incurred. Mm-hmm. Like I think the paint can thing would have would have broken your neck.
Yeah, there's a certain point in which like one of these would have killed one of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like the iron to the face. I'm like, okay, you're not getting up after that.
I think it's in the second one where it's like really ramped up. Like these guys get crushed by full ass toolboxes and like
they're going up flights of stairs,
bricks to the head from like 4 stories up.
Like it's really funny, but also if you think about kids watching this, how many were like, "Oh, we'll do that," you know? Like as a parent, this is nightmare fuel. Because now you have to like explain to your kid how that doesn't work, how you could really hurt someone.
It's like, hey, this is a fantasy.
Yeah.
You know, don't throw cans of paint at people's heads.
It's a movie.
Yeah,
Let's not take
real
crowbars to people's chests.
Yeah, you know, kids getting their crowbars for Christmas, you know, underneath the mistletoe or whatever. Or underneath the stocking, I should say, not the mistletoe.
No, but I think my favorite thing in all of this, the one that would be the most frustrating is the ice on the steps.
Yeah, ice on the steps is rough. I love how just instantaneously it freezes after he like applies a little bit of water to it.
I was wondering about that.
Yeah, I don't know. It's still fun though.
Still fun. I've fallen down steps like that before.
Yeah.
Like I was at Ferris one time and I was walking out and took the first step, didn't see ice.
Oh shit!
Oh, feet up in the air, went down like 4 steps, like all concrete. Like I popped up and it did not feel good. Mm-hmm. So that's why that one to me is the most frustrating because you don't see it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. What else is there to say about Home Alone? Home Alone.
I think we hit on a lot of the fun. A little bit of trivia. Maybe you know it, maybe you don't. But I will expose it to everyone now that's listening because I had no clue. Right?
I'm excited.
So it's got to be plausible in the moment, right? We're gonna wake up late, right? We got to get everyone onto this thing. We got to somehow miscount, right? And also we have to make sure that the tickets are all accounted for once we get there. So when we miss the count, right, we don't have an extra ticket because that would kind of highlight, hey, someone's not here. What happened to Kevin's ticket? Do you know?
His dad accidentally threw it in the trash during the chaos when he spills all the pop on it.
Did you know that? Did you ever catch that?
This was I think, my first time catching it because I thought simply that the only fluke was that they count the wrong kid.
Yes, that's what I thought too.
Yeah.
No, I saw something on it and I was like, there's no way. So then I got to the trash and you pause it. It's got his name on there and everything, but because of the events unfolding, which is another reason why I talk about like, this is such a well-written film because it kind of like, hey, like, let's figure out every way that we could not account for him, but we also have to account for that. Right. So maybe it was him working backwards. Maybe John Hughes started with the ending in mind and just literally wrote this thing backwards.
I mean, it's quite possible. The scene in which, I guess the couple scenes in which Chris Farley are a part of.
John Candy.
God damn it. What did I say? Chris Farley.
Cut that in post.
Yes, I absolutely will. The couple scenes in which John Candy are in, I guess he was allowed to improvise his lines. So, I guess every piece of dialogue that he has is just from him. It
makes sense.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny because, like, he's talking about the Polka Kings. Mm-hmm. We've sold 623 copies. Polka, 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 polka. And I'm like...
Kiss me, polka.
Yeah. I was like, this isn't, like, it's not very funny.
Polka twist.
Yeah.
It's not, like, the most, like, gut-busting, but it is, like... so hyper specific.
Well,
that just kind of adds to the oddity of it.
Yes, and I was gonna say him referencing everything in Wisconsin, I believe, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
he's like, we're the Sheboygan Heaters. You ever hear we perform there quite? And he named like a the Kenosha Killers, or whatever it is, and. I was like, I really like he's targeting the Midwest in this thing because it fits so well into this character, right? Like I feel like if you ran into someone from Wisconsin, they would do exactly that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was that's fun, but that makes a lot more sense that was all kind of improvised.
Yeah. And if anything, it allows for Catherine O'Hara to like kind of come to terms with, how she views herself as a mother and the sort of like character arc that she goes on.
Yeah.
While this very silly thing is happening, but it also just like, she has no stakes in like how she can really truly express herself because she's with people who, it doesn't matter if she tells them or not. It's more so just for us as the audience of like recognizing that she's gone through this reconciliation of sorts.
It definitely helps her to address the situation and some of the guilt she's feeling.
Yeah.
Right. And it seems to be somewhat impactful.
I mean, it definitely makes it more impactful too when she, shows up back home and, looks at Kevin and says like, Merry Christmas. And there's like that little bit of linger and, it doesn't fully come to an embrace until she says, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And that acknowledgement was enough to bring the family together, acknowledge when there's shortcomings on both sides. And I don't know, the movie wraps up very well that way.
Yes, it does. Last question is, what did Dad do for a living?
That's a great question because what the hell did he do to afford that house, that big ass house?
Seriously, they 7 kids.
Yeah.
Like 14 rooms.
Do they ever say what he does?
No. One of the more infuriating things, especially with the performance of the dad.
Yeah.
Because
Peter is the name of the dad.
Yeah. He's not necessarily a piece of shit in this thing.
Played by John Hurd.
Which he's also kind of a character actor. He's been in a couple other things that you'd recognize him from.
Yeah.
But at the same token, just a little too cool. Right? Yeah. Makes me wonder what he does. That's all I'm saying. They got first class plane tickets for four of them.
It is interesting that
everyone coach.
This movie very much focuses on the mother-son relationship of it. And like Catherine O'Hara's character is like kind of the heart and like the centerpiece of the emotion of the movie.
Yes.
And the dad character is just kind of there.
Literally,
like I don't think the performance is bad necessarily. No. I think he does what is asked of him. But what is asked of him is like pretty minimal. And
he's just absent dad is what he is.
He's just kind of there to like go with the flow. It's like, but, okay, don't worry, I'm sure Kevin's fine.
That's what I'm saying though. Like, hey, like our kid's fucking gone.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, we'll figure it out. They always do. He'll be okay. He's a kid. What's he going to do? I'm like, bro, what are you doing? How do you have this much goddamn money? Your kid's gone. But, say la vie.
Say la vie. Yeah. I mean, Buzz had to turn out a certain way somehow. So, I don't know.
Oh, my God.
We can only speculate.
Yeah. There's a lot going on in that house.
Right. Oh, shit. Running a little bit long.
Oh, yeah.
But a lot of it's going to get cut down.
I was about to say, well, we're probably at 225.
Shall we get into ratings for Home Alone?
Yeah, absolutely.
You go first.
Okay. I looked at my original score on IMDb, and I think that was more reflective of how I felt prior to this last watch. Being able to sit down and work out my own demons with how I feel about this film and the everything that I've had issues with it. Not even necessarily with the film, just the fact that it's been on way too many times. I feel like, and I've seen it way too much. Screenwriting, A+, score, A+. The acting in this thing is phenomenal. I like what you mentioned too about the simplicity of it all, because this film, while very simplistic, because of the emotional reactions you get and everything, it feels very robust. But at the end of the day, it is a kid understanding a little bit more about the world around him, and the parents coming through and recognizing him that he's more than just a kid, right? And we're gonna throw in some silly activities along the way. But yeah, really, really phenomenal. I mean, this thing, it still holds up. It's 35 years later, and we're talking about an 8-year-old leading a film with shenanigans and being like, wow, I had an emotional reaction to it. So I originally had this thing at a 8 out of 10, but I bumped it up to a 9 out of 10. Like it's undeniably good. It's undeniably good. And we didn't even talk about, like you said, with like Die Hard. This set the ball in motion for these fucking little kid movies coming out, where these kids are now the leads, trying to hold a flame to it.
Yeah,
very difficult.
Yeah, no, I guess I'll get into my thoughts. This is a very iconic childhood movie for me. Very nostalgic for it. Watched it so many times. I couldn't even tell you how many times I've seen it. I knew it like the back of my hand. It was one of those movies that I'm pretty sure when I was a kid, I would stay up and recite the entire thing line for line, because I used to do that with certain things.
I feel like I know where this is going.
And this, I'm pretty sure, was one of those movies where it just like lived embedded in my hippocampus. So I was very curious how it was going to be, not just viewing it from like this lens as an adult, but also just like most recent viewing, like how it compares to other Christmas movies. And I think that there's such an earnestness to this film that I just cannot deny. There's a lot of fun to be had with the performances and the antics and the stunt work, and Joe Pesci, Daniel Stern, I think are just like the right amount of like earnestness with their characters, but also silliness with what's going on.
Yeah, goofy with a taste of you have a sense of who they are.
Yeah. This movie has such a good texture to it as far as like the Christmas vibe, just like hitting all those right feelings of, yeah, it's that time of year. Time to throw on Home Alone and like sit back with a hot cup of Joe and just soak it all in. Yeah, this is a 9 out of 10 for me.
9 out of 10?
Yep.
Wow, I thought you were going to go 10 out of 10.
I almost went with an 8, but, I think that there's not much you can really like fault this movie for. I mean, I think if anything, there's like maybe some minor things here or there that like make it just a little bit rougher around the edges as far as like it being a 90s movie, or like maybe some of the other kid performances, some of the line deliveries. But like, shit, man, I can watch this movie and have a good time pretty much anytime I throw it on. So
good for you. Now that is different than me, but good for you.
Yeah, I think it's hard to fight.
Yeah. That's good though. 9 out of 10. That's good. I thought you got, man, that means Die Hard is sitting up there upper echelon. Holy shit.
Yeah. When I watched Die Hard like a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
Or I guess it was like a year ago I rewatched it with Megan. I don't think Megan had seen it before. It was like it like woke me up.
Oh, really?
It was like wow. Like I knew this was good, but like wow. I didn't remember just how much it would hit me in that moment. And yeah, it definitely hit me.
The movies that you can go through and rewatch, and it's not necessarily first viewing experience, but you are not waiting for those key moments to hit, and you're just able to watch the film through. Those are the ones that you hold on to.
Have you seen the other Home Alone movies?
Yeah, so I've seen Home Alone 2.
That one's fun. I like that one.
It's kind of like Die Hard 2, where it's just like it's way more silly, and they try to hit the same beats.
It's pretty much the same exact movie structure, just different setting.
Yeah, and then we saw Home Alone 3 in theaters.
Oh wow!
With like the kid that was in Liar Liar, I think.
Alex D. Linz.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Yeah. We went and we saw that in theaters. And
I kind of forgive that movie a little more just because he's not playing Kevin. Like they're not trying to say he's like the same character.
Okay. It's the Karate Kid.
All
right, great. We're just gonna rip everything up here, and we're just gonna insert new kid.
I feel like people would forgive that movie more if it like was just like, yeah, this is a Home Alone knockoff, instead of calling it Home Alone 3.
Yeah, I think Sam actually that's kind of maybe like a Speed 2 for him.
Yeah,
I think
I watched that one weirdly a lot too.
Home Alone 3.
Yeah, the first 3 Home Alone movies I would watch all the time.
I think like the third one kind of presents, maybe it was just growing up, a little bit more of a modern time, where like it's
and
not
it upped the stakes weirdly, because instead of 2 burglars, it was 4 like evil secret agents or whatever the fuck it was.
I honestly, we saw it in theaters, and I remember like walking out being like, yeah, that was okay, and every time that I have a chance to throw it on, I avoid it.
Yeah.
So
I'd be curious to revisit it as just like a
standalone,
a curio.
Yeah, like, hey, where's this thing? I think Sam is like, boy, I could be tarnishing his name right now too, but if I remember correctly, it's like a Speed 2 for him, where he's like, this is not great film, but I oddly enough love it.
I would like his insight if he listens to this episode.
There's got to be I'm curious, like what film it's Unborn Treasures or Unnamed Passages.
Home Alone 4 is just dog shit. Don't even bother. You haven't seen it, right?
Come on. At some point, I just stop with these things.
Because that one is when it's trying to be about Kevin McAllister again, but it's a different kid, and it came out in like the mid 2000s. It just sucks.
Yeah,
it's very like forgettable, just clear.
Yeah,
trying to like cash in on the name brand alone, pretty much.
That's good for your Die Hard.
Yeah. Garbage. And then I guess there's one called Home Sweet Home Alone or something, that's got like the husky kid from Jojo Rabbit as the star. I don't know. I haven't watched that one. Maybe I will one day, but
I don't know how you take. It just boggles my mind sometimes. You're like, well, we've got a character and we got the situation down. Like, here's our blueprint. Like, this will be a franchise.
I mean, we were talking about like how would this type of movie survive now if it came out now, and I feel like obviously those other movies are like missing the quality of like what makes this movie great, but also it's one of those things too where it's like, I don't know if you can get away with just like the same simple premise over and over again without like having to complicate it more and more,
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. I think that's why I'm not huge on sequels. I mean, it's Twister.
Yeah.
Right. Very simple premise. And it's like, how do we have to up the stakes? And I think what really happens is that there is as the average moviegoer, right? Something fascinated us. We don't know what it is. We watch Die Hard. we can't go. I really like the John McClane character. We got to see a lot of it. Like we got to understand the character much more in depth than we normally would have because of these other factors. It's just because information gets presented to us, we kind of go, oh yeah, like he doesn't like planes, like that's why he doesn't have Home Alone. All right, it's gonna be a silly premise with this kid running around against burglars. Well, like I kind of like that. The mom came back and they hugged each other and they got reunited, right? Or Twister's like, hey, they're just chasing tornadoes, right? Or they don't go, man, I really liked all those characters. Like it's not an ensemble cast, but it almost shapes up like an ensemble cast because of the richness of the characters around it. And you can't name it as average moviegoer what makes you feel that way inside because you're just taking it for face value, right? So then they go, well, fuck. They like that one. Let's just staple it all together again, and we'll come up with Home Alone 2. And then you go in there and you see it a second time, and you're like, it just doesn't feel the same. It's a little bit more diluted. Like, that was kind of funny. I kind of like that moment, but it just, something felt a little off. And then they come out with a third one, and it's 50-50 if you're going to see it or not. And then you watch it, and you go, it's just the same thing.
Yeah.
And I think that's what happens. So now we get to... Now you get to these days now, and because they can't write a simple fucking screenwrite, everything's got to be up to the 10th stake. What do you do in the second one?
Yeah.
Like how do you...
you put too many blocks on top of the puzzle, it all collapses.
Yeah, like they're going to do... If they do, like Predator Badlands always comes to mind. And I'm just like, this better be the one-off, right? Yeah. Like, and I it for what it went for and what it hit on, yeah, awesome. But like... You're just going to keep stacking, and it doesn't feel to me, it doesn't feel very authentic.
Yeah.
So.
Cool. That was our discussion of Home Alone.
That was our rant.
I don't know about an R.
Crazy old Matt going off the cuff again about movies and why they suck now.
Not old. Yeah. Come on. Crazy? But, not old. Give yourself a little bit of grace there. Come on. I think it is my turn to recommend a movie. Last bit of business.
Yeah, last bit.
So I really couldn't tell you why this movie came up in my mind to recommend.
Okay.
But it is one that I know you know. I know it. I don't know if you've seen it. I have not seen it.
Interesting. What year?
2009.
Okay.
Do you want any more hints other than that?
Well, there's a movie from 2009. I've narrowed it down.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
Kind of it's one of those movies that's very controversial.
Interesting. Okay, are you going to, if you gave me an actor, is that going to give it away?
It might.
Okay, if you gave me a director, is that going to give it away?
It will.
Okay. If you get, what could you possibly give me that would somewhat resemble movies that were coming around in the late 2000s?
It's hard to say. It's like a two-hander. I think it's just two people that are a part of the movie.
Oh.
A husband and wife character set.
Revolutionary Road.
No.
Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
This is like a rated R, like hard R. Like this movie has some business going on in it.
Graphic sex scenes.
Graphic a lot of things.
The fuck? Wow, 2009, that was graphic everywhere. I
can give you one of these if you want me to. It'll more than likely give it away though.
Hold on one second. Hold on. We got a wife and husband doing unspeakable things to each other with a director that we're not sure. Lars von Trier. Gas Renault?
You got the first one right.
Lars von Trier?
Yep.
Is this a popular film?
This is probably one of his more well-known ones.
Jesus Christ.
Not Jesus Christ.
Oh, no. Oh, Antichrist?
I'm recommending Antichrist.
Oh, God damn it. I thought I'd be able to go throughout my life without seeing this thing.
I'm sorry, you're not that lucky, Mac.
Why are we watching this?
I've never seen it.
Fuck.
It's been one of those movies that I've just been aware of. I was going to watch it eventually anyway because I'm a little sicko, and Lars von Trier interests me as a filmmaker, so I'm throwing it out there.
All right.
we're going to be watching Antichrist. Aren't you excited?
Oh, no.
Willem Dafoe, Charlotte Gainsbourg doing God knows what to each other the whole time.
So you know nothing about this movie?
I know a
little.
few things.
Enough to know the disturbing parts that are not.
I'm going into it sort of knowing what to expect. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can't
wait till Jasmine walks in. I go, it's a Kyle film.
Oh yeah, blame it all on me.
Oh, I definitely am. You think I'm like I just told you I thought I'd go my whole life without seeing it.
Blame it all on me. This movie that I'm forcing you to watch.
Art's gonna open you up. Art makes you more interesting. Art. Okay. It's on. We have it on. It's on. We have to do it. If we recommend a film, you watch the film.
Very interesting, at the very least, to discuss. So
I can't.
We'll have to figure out a movie to pair it with.
Yeah, that's gonna be right. Yeah,
Zootopia 2.
Yep. Yeah. Well, boy, howdy, huh? Okay.
You can hear Mac's excitement for when we discuss Lars von Trier's Antichrist for episode 110 coming out. Yeah. I think it'll be coming out 2026. It'll be our first episode of that year.
Jesus, that's awesome. Let's really staple it. We're gonna get new audience members. What's this one about?
Get in the sickos.
Well, at least like you read the title and you're like, I don't know. I had a buddy watch it in college. Like he liked watching odd films, right? Mm-hmm. Let's go with the artsy fartsy stuff. And he watched that and he just said, yeah, I don't know. No, I wouldn't recommend it. Don't know what I watched. And yeah, like that was it. Like, and it was his whole gig was just finding, those out there movies.
That makes it all the more exciting.
And that's the most he had to say about that thing. And I remember him saying it. And I knew like 2 scenes in the whole thing. And I was like, okay, that tells me as much as I need to know. Well, hey, movie buffs. All right.
Hell yeah. We're going into this with good energy.
Yeah.
Lars von Trier.
Watching it late at night.
Pump it up.
Make sure no one wakes up.
Make sure nobody walks in front of your TV.
Yeah, I don't want to explain this to anyone.
All right, if you guys don't want to be spoiled for Antichrist, be sure to check that movie out before episode 110.
Fucking recommending this thing. Yeah, okay, whatever. Prepare yourselves if you don't want to be spoiled.
McLean, how do we head out into the nice, cold, wintry Christmas snow?
WWTHD.
Bye, everyone. Leave it on the doorstep and get the hell out. The Neon Crew podcast is hosted by Kyle Yates and McLean Parker. Kyle, who is myself, also helps to produce, edit, and upload every episode. Our music was composed by Gideon Hunter. Our artwork was created by Lauren Hunter. Thank you so much for listening to our show. Episodes get scheduled to release every 2 weeks. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Follow us on various social media platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, and our YouTube community page for updates and information on upcoming episodes. Want to join the Neon Mafia? Head over to our shop page at etsy.com/shop/the Neon Crew Podcast for some quality, comfortable merch.